Good morning, YouTube, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Good news, we're doing a weekly giveaway on our YouTube channel for Amazon gift cards. All you got to do to enter is like the video, give us a subscribe, and comment below. The more comments you give us on the weekly videos for that week, we go Monday through Sunday, the more chances you have being entered, basically. So I'm going to go through whatever the most creative content is as far as your comments go, and I'll pick a winner, and I'll send you a gift card. It's pretty simple. Free money. Who likes free money? I know I do. Subscribe. Have a good day.
Yeah. Well, that's a little better. We're just going to roll with it because I don't want to adjust shit all day. So, back to the Anthony's not dead.
Anthony died.
Shawn pissed him off.
Legit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Because I called him out on his bullshit.
You didn't see that part in the FSTV group chat?
No.
Yeah. Because he kept making up excuses for why he wasn't. The whole taking the podcast and editing it down into clips was his idea. He was the one that's like, why don't you delegate tasks? I'll take 2 episodes and I'll get it done. Mm-hmm. But then it never got done. So Shawn's like, if we don't get it done in a timely manner, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So they got into a little bit, and Shawn's like, no, you're making excuses. Stop fucking making excuses. And Anthony said, Shawn, you're a dick, and left chat. So. Well,
I mean, Shawn is a dick,
but that's real, real talk.
I mean,
especially
honest,
if you're going to commit to doing something, if it's your idea, and then you're going to commit to doing something, follow through.
Well, that's the
if you're not going to follow through, we don't need you.
Even if it's not your idea, just
don't commit to shit that you're not going to do.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
I know shit can happen.
No, I always commit. Yeah, that's true. But I even more so if it's your idea. If you're the one that came up with it, and then you make the commitment to do it, fucking do it.
Yeah. Well, that's sad. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Anthony is not part of our cast, at least right now. Maybe I'll bring him back after ice cream season starts. When Shawn's not around. You know, and that's like life. A lot of people I don't understand the mentality that, like, there's like 2 degrees of separation. 30 years ago it was 6 degrees of separation. But now with social media, with how close-knit our communities are and how much closely tied together we are, we're really not that far apart. But the people that are like, well, I don't like that guy, so you can't be friends with him either, I will never, ever subscribe to people like that. I don't understand that mentality.
Yeah.
Maybe because for so long I've had an extensive social circle that it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, people beef within that circle all the time, and so it's like you can't be taking sides or splitting hairs. It's
right.
Just like,
and if you expect me to take sides, guess what? I'm going to side against you.
Yeah.
Just because you want me to take sides.
Yep.
That's the way it works. Like
that makes so much more sense now, D, with context. I did not know that. I thought it was a personal hit against me, but in my defense, I couldn't get the disc thing to work. It was having issues. But we finally got that worked out, so I'm going to take that and actually get it done this afternoon.
Wrong with it?
I don't know exactly. We had to do a thing where we like repaired it through some CHD something.
Check disc?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't read you brought it back, wouldn't read on anything?
Yeah. Well, I tried to do some things, but
one
I didn't want to
thing
the files
in a little bit of research is never unplug a hard drive without ejecting it.
Yeah.
Unfortunate part about this machine is for some reason I don't have an eject option. So if I want to
look at that, I was like, what the hell? How do you do that?
Yeah, if I want to unplug the drive, I got to shut the machine down.
So ridiculous.
I don't get it.
No.
Maybe
your machine does weird things, dude. Like
I know
the way that like just almost like it needs a reinstall of Windows on it. But then that's a whole other.
I did that before when I got it.
Yeah.
What version?
Is it Windows 10?
Yeah.
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 That's maybe you got a weird like version of Windows 10 on there. Where'd you
pulled it off in Windows? It's the
if it's off
the Windows reboot.
Yeah. Well, usually I know when I did Duane's computer, my computer gave me like 12 different versions of Windows to pick from. Does yours give you that?
I don't remember.
If it's
I just downloaded what it told me to download, put it on a thumb drive, and stuck it in. I just followed the instructions.
Damn it, Duane.
Damn it, Duane.
Are you gonna come at some point today, Duane?
Yeah.
I mean,
So I still want to know.
He'll probably go to like Pornhub.com.
Nice.
Yeah, he's gonna come over here and bring his laptop and sit here and watch Joe Rogan while we're live. We like to do that. Undead Unicorn, why is it
My mic is
Tuesday
low.
your favorite day? What is due? Sean's mic is a little low. Matt said, "Fucking Duane." Damn it. So Undead Unicorn, I still want to know why is Tuesday your favorite day?
True.
It starts with a 2. It's in TU.
And the significance of that is...
I don't know. Ask him.
All right.
Tuesday. Starting in the week.
It's the day after the beginning of the week. Or something.
Ah, beautiful.
Tuesday is my favorite day because I only have history class on Tuesday, and history is my favorite lesson. Okay, I can respect that. History is my least favorite. Actually, history is my second least favorite. I had to take Washington State history 3 times because I failed the first 2, and you had to have it to graduate in Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
I hated history. I don't give a fuck what happened 200 years ago. I really don't.
But you should, though, because as we all well know, history repeats
That's like
itself.
Shawn telling me I should learn how to edit video and do special effects. Why?
I never told you.
No,
I get history
That's
repeats
not the
itself.
same as because that's like a very niche
No, I
thing.
mean, as
Everybody
far as,
could.
as far as my interests go, that's the comparison. I'm not saying that they're the same thing.
Yeah,
as far as how much I'm interested in it,
That's fair.
it's about equal.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was super uninterested in it in high school. Just boring as shit.
History or
now that
video
I'm
editing?
older, I love history. Shit, I love to learn anything for the most part, except for basket weaving.
History is especially fascinating. I
Underwater
think.
basket weaving,
I mean, that seems a little funner.
BB stacking 101.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah. I respect people that adore history. To each their own. Some people like math. Some people like science. Some people like history.
I like all of it.
There's just a wealth of knowledge to be gained.
Good morning,
Just
Jenny.
hated my
Jenny said, if you
teachers.
want to know, you can get video editors. No, Shawn and Josh are video editors. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I just don't like doing it. Sean's been trying to convince me that I need to, and I'm trying to figure out to develop a passion. And now it's to the point where I know Sean's time, come springtime, his time is going to be way more limited. So there's going to be way more responsibility that I'm going to have to fill in. So I'm just going to have to do it, but I'm not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it at all. Hey, Mom. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mom said, good morning, gentlemen. Undead Unicorn said, I collect 20th century war helmets. I have a European royal family poster, and I'm saving up for an Asian one. I hold all the family heirlooms in my bedroom, including my great-grandfather's genuine World War gear.
That is super fucking cool.
That interests me, but history in general does not. Like,
I
have all my grandfather's World War II medals. I've got his documents and citations. I love reading them. I'm gonna transpose them.
And those interest you?
They do. They absolutely do.
I think that's part of what, like, connecting to. I think enjoying history is very dependent on, like, connecting to it. So you have to, like, whatever part of history you're talking about, you have to find some way to relate to that history.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of people don't, though. A lot of people are just fascinated by what happened with Pharaoh and the ancient
But I think
Egyptians.
that-
I don't give two
But I think
shits.
they still have to have some sort
I don't
of.
care about what aliens built the pyramids.
But I still think
I mean,
anyone to be interested.
I don't
Could
care.
be giant people. Could be a lot of things.
They have to find some sort of connection to
But I
it.
still don't care.
I mean, that's fair. But you should.
Why
Because-
should I?
Because it could help the future.
So you
history
should
repeats
learn how
itself.
to
There's
beat match.
patterns and trends, and so if you study things, just like people study for the not the black market, but the stock market. If you study trends and you can see patterns
Okay.
in behavior, you can set yourself up for the future and actually be better off and learn things that you may not have known.
Theoretically, but we never know what the stock market's going to do.
But
Speaking
we
of
know
that-
we know what governments are going to do. For instance, we know that
Cryptocurrency is
civilizations
available
aren't
to us
permanent
now.
things.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, we know that, like, the U.S. is spreading themselves too thin, kind of like Rome did in the later stages of their empire, and so we can look at these things and like extrapolate data from them and actually learn from history, and it can help us move forward and not repeat the same patterns. Is what I'm saying.
Matt said, just hire someone with a donation jar, referring editing. No, that's got to go to paying bills, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not that much donations popping into there.
And it's not cheap to run this shit. We're not half-dressed prancing around in sports bras, so we're not getting people donating to our channel on a regular basis. All of our bits come from people who get them for free.
No,
My mother and Shawn.
I paid for bits.
You bought some bits? I bought bits, too.
That's why I donated some one day.
I did. Unicorn said, well, I'm pretty closely related to a noble house, which I think might be partly the reason why I'm so interested in royal houses. And that's absolutely cool, man. It's cool that you're interested in that, but for somebody to tell me that I need to be interested in history,
but you should have a desire to learn and to understand what happened beforehand, so you can.
Does it make me lesser of a person since I don't?
No, I don't think it makes you lesser of an individual.
I'm just making sure.
I just think that, like I said, everybody should have a desire for some, like,
not
all subjects in school should be pushed on kids. Like
I agree.
You know, I think a lot of it's useless information, but I think history is one of the ones that is fundamental.
If it wasn't for history, I would have graduated with a much better GPA and probably qualified for a college scholarship.
Yeah.
But history and math really tanked me. Anything that wasn't history or math, I could excel in. But anything like
and then there's a difference between like all of history and like U.S. history or state history. Like I think there should be at least you should learn about your region and then the country of origins. But other than that, I don't think you should necessarily have to go back and learn about the Egyptians or you know what I'm saying, like the immediate first 350 years. Like
must be my dad. Oh, okay, I see. I'm catching up on chat. Matt Lowe said, yeah, but how much of history is fucking bullshit? And that's part of the reason why people should be studying history is so they can try to dig deeper and find out which parts are bullshit and which parts aren't.
Yes.
It's fascinating to me when history gets corrected. Because a lot of the things that I learned as a child are no longer applicable in history books.
Because the world's opened up and now we're getting history books from all the sections and being able to like collaborate all of them.
So that part of it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me how many bigots wrote the history books and only wanted one certain side to be told.
The winners write the history books normally.
I was gonna say that was the saying, and I think it's kind of going away now because like people are taking a look at other perspectives.
Whoever painted Christopher Columbus out to be a saint wasn't a winner.
I mean, nobody did, not even the U.S. I mean, all you got to do is go read a history book. Nobody painted him out to be a saint.
Well,
when I was in elementary school, he was.
Yeah, when I was in elementary school, everyone. Yeah, it was obviously like our elementary history books weren't super detailed.
They weren't. They were very, very cookie cutter.
But the colorful pictures.
Yeah, but to us, when I remember the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, they were all discovery ships, and they discovered America, and we wouldn't have humanity in the United States as it is today without Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
I mean, that was part of it, but then there was also the slaughter of Native Americans, and
they left all that stuff out.
They didn't from my history class. I don't know. Maybe I went to a different school.
Jenny said those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it. Well, I'm not worried about repeating it because I trust my homies that study history to be like, hey, don't go down that path. That's one of the beauties of today's society is we can all hold each other accountable and look out for each other.
Another thing is like the perspective. So like, for example, Russia in their history books, they in their history books, they're the ones that won World War II.
Dad said, how about
like
the Vikings?
Fall of the USSR was like a good thing, beneficial?
No, I mean like, they're talking about just World War II.
Like, World War II flat.
I'm not talking about like other stuff that happened, but they're talking about how they won the war from their perspective because they sacrificed more people than anybody by far, which is true.
Weren't like over 1 million Russians also taken into concentration camps and slaughtered? Weren't they taking Austrians and Russians?
There's a good video that shows like all the population of, it's like a 20-minute video, animated video showing the population of like all the people that died in different wars and stuff, and World War II is one of them, and they went into deep detail about like how many? And Russia did lose something like 10 or 20 times more people than we did, or that any country did. Like they lost. So if you're just talking about population, they lost. Like so, but from their perspective, it's like we sacrificed the most, and we're the ones that won the war, not the Americans.
Interesting.
From their history book perspective.
Yeah.
So
it's all about how something's written down in there.
Yeah, the Soviets lost the most casualties in the Second World War.
Catching up, Dad said, just saying an expressive want to dig history that much. It's more for analyticals, and that's true. I'm definitely an expressive. I always have been. Matt said, that's why it's hard for me to believe any of it. So much corruption, and how the fuck do we know the real history when you go way, way back? Because some old fuck told you.
That's fair.
Dad said, oops, bad spelling, and I'm going to go dig Tom Hartman for a few more minutes. Have a good show. Enjoy. I know my dad's a huge fan of. He doesn't miss Tom's show. Tom has priority over FunkShop TV. It's my father. That's okay. That's okay.
I feel it.
Dad Unicorn said, thing is, when you do know history, especially contemporary, post-1800 history, you can link stuff really closely to modern-day politics.
Yes.
Well, I think modern-day politics is a bunch of bullshit, too.
Also, yes.
Dad said, you're a true expressive, Paul. Nothing wrong with that. Josh, you make good points, but not for everyone. Probably speaking about history.
Yeah.
With the current social medias, we have much more resources. Undead Unicorn said, yeah, exactly. The winners write history. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I personally think in the First World War, Britain should have been fighting alongside the Germans, not against them. Dad said, how about the Vikings? Undead Unicorn said, Vikings are neat, but I don't know much about them because I'm more about post-gunpowder history. Dad said, our history books in some parts of the country are also being rewritten, and they are. There's a lot of stuff that's being taken out because a certain faction of people that run this country don't want shit to be known. There's shit that's going to be swept under the rug.
What do you mean? Like things being
I'm going to have to do some research to find some examples.
Okay.
But a lot of reports have come out over the last 6 months about Nancy DeVos wanting to eliminate certain parts of history books out of history books.
Well, I mean, there's good examples of like the Egyptian timelines and stuff like that. How the majority of scientists don't even though there's evidence to show that the Egyptian society went back way farther than they think it does. A lot of evidence to show that they're like, nope, we're not putting that in the history books. Even though,
it's hard to get a consensus when you've already had the opposite one.
There's some curriculums that are trying to take a lot of factual information about slavery out of history books.
That's crazy to me.
It's nuts. It's insane to me. Why?
Yeah,
because
that's
if we take it out and don't teach the young kids, the mindset is if we don't teach the young kids and they can grow up not knowing about it, eventually nobody's going to know about it anymore, so we can move on.
Bro, this is exactly what I was saying to you, and why I respect everybody's desire to learn the things they want to and not, but history is one of the subjects I think is prudent for everybody to learn so we don't forget the history, the things, the lessons of past,
I get
slavery and stuff like.
I get it.
How we could so easily forget these things, and I feel like we are starting to forget them, which is why we're going into like this thing where we're like segregating ourselves on on weird sections of the fucking community.
Do you think we'll get to a point where we are repeating it?
I do.
Really?
And I think it's because we're not pushing it. We're not holding it up and pushing it to the forefront of the conversation.
I think there's enough of Americans, especially America, enough American society that are willing to risk their lives to make sure it doesn't happen.
I mean,
I don't think it can even be a possibility. But
but we're more polarized right now in the country than I think we've been.
My brain is just too utopian minded.
Yeah.
Fucking liberal.
I'm all for being utopian, but.
Jenny said, scorched earth strategy or no? Undead Unicorn said, yeah. She said, Russian strategy every time. Undead Unicorn said, but he took it a whole new level, talking about Stalin.
Yes.
Stalin literally burned down farms just despite the Germans had men use machine guns on retreating soldiers, not one step back. It's fun. My grandfather had a picture of Mussolini hanging with his mistress.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure when my grandmother passed, my aunt got that picture. But it's an original copy of the original. because my grandfather was in Italy during World War II, and there's a lot of people in a lot of towns in Italy that have way more American patriotic sense than most American towns do.
Yeah.
So that does fascinate me. But
Thanks for the cheer.
There's so much.
That's so loud.
So loud. There's so much
I understand why it scares people.
terrible
I
stuff
don't know if I could
during the World War II period. For instance, like the eugenics program started over in America, or we had a Nazi bank set up on Wall Street. Like a lot of people don't know about simple things like that that should be pushed to the forefront, but
or like
overlooked.
Or internment camps that we had on U.S. soil.
Yeah, well, yeah, with the Japanese you're talking about. Those are liberation camps, is what we called them, friend.
Matt just said, yeah, I shit my pants, thanks.
Oh.
See, it shouldn't. When I made those sound clips, I didn't make them any different. There's no volume control for it.
Interesting.
Then, God.
Oh, there it is. See, it's already at 50%.
Thanks for the cheer.
Hold on, I'm taking them all down.
Oh, there's a bit one right there.
I know, I'm taking them all down. I'm taking them all down.
Making my way downtown.
Because I made sound clips for everything.
Where's your bits? Is it 100%?
80.
Let's try her again.
Hold on. I'm going to have to save it before you do that. God, why does everything just change so much? Matt said, motherfuck.
Thanks for the cheer.
Can I save settings first? Jesus.
Still loud.
Well, I just now saved settings. Try it again.
Thanks for the cheer.
Way better.
Is that better, Matt? Is it still too loud over there?
I guarantee a lot better.
It is a lot better, but it's still pretty loud if you... Now we need somebody to come in and raid us.
Yeah.
I want to hear that raid siren.
Wow.
Really want to hear that raid siren.
Thanks for the cheer.
Hopefully that volume level is better for you. Good enough, my boner is back. It was so loud it made your penis go inverted.
Follow me, everything is
Bill Cosby
alright.
used condom is now following us. Shout out to Bill Cosby's used condom.
That's amazing.
Oh
Much
my
love, fam.
Lanza. Oh my Lanza. So, Dad said, yeah, eugenics resulted in hundreds, if not thousands, of women being sterilized because rich white oops. Must be rich white fucks.
Yeah.
Dad didn't want to type that.
Fair.
He'd feel too guilty. Though they'd create the perfect race in our country. So much for equality in the Constitution. Yeah, eugenics is a...
But did you know that eugenics essentially started in America? This was a American program.
Yeah.
And
Bill
the idea is
Cosby's
just to,
used
like, to
condom
make
said
a
he
help-
just threw me
healthier,
aside. What an
better
asshole on the sidewalk.
People.
Yeah,
And which we're not really that far from redoing again because we're getting to the point of like.
editing DNA and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Ideal.
So-
Designer babies.
Oh
and-
my
So,
Lanza.
so is that okay? But like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
you have a weird gray area.
As much as people will probably hate it, why can't we talk about eugenics? Why can't we have a conversation
Yeah,
about
and Dad
potentially?
just clarified. He said, I said in our country. So, talking about eugenics.
I mean, if I had an opportunity to edit my DNA or edit my children's DNA for the better.
Well, I don't think you can
yeah.
be editing too many people who are already here. But moving forward, why would we not want to try to, I don't want to use the word exploit because I feel like that. Well, but why wouldn't we try to make the best?
Man, you can do the @
possible
symbol
people,
and then start typing somebody's name just like you
Seems
do on
like
Facebook
the only
to tag
responsible
somebody.
thing to do. It seems like it'd be irresponsible to let people continue to get different, life-threatening diseases, or what I'm saying, like degenerative changes
Let's
to
make our bodies immune to all diseases.
Well, it is irresponsible, but look at how much our society allows sickness and illness and incurable cancers.
I mean,
when
yes,
there's probably
but we
there's
also
probably a
want
way
socialized
around it.
Healthcare, right? Or at least I think the large majority of us do.
Well, it's being controlled by big money.
If I had the money, I would
just
spray a spray over everybody and make all human beings perfect.
Matt said, I was too lazy to type your whole name, Cosby. Sounds like Bill Cosby's used condom and Matt need to have a private chat. Matt said, I have so many questions for you, Cosby. Bill Cosby said, he just threw me aside when an asshole on the sidewalk. No, I'm the condom.
Gross.
I feel like those two are really close already.
Jenny said, we gods, Neo Josh.
What?
We gods, Neo Josh.
We gods now?
Apparently.
Care is cheaper than treatment? Yes.
Preventative care is cheaper than treatment.
Very much so.
It wouldn't be if the pharmaceutical companies weren't ostracizing us, though.
I mean, it still would be. Look at Canada. Like, they have socialized healthcare, and it's slow, and it's ineffective, and it's still expensive. It's not like it's a super cheap program. It's cheaper than ours, definitely.
Their pharmaceutical is a third of what we're paying in America.
Yeah, it's something like that, or like 40% or something, a third. Yeah, it's substantially
34%.
cheaper. But even still, if you talk to people who deal with those socialized programs, things are like gridlocked a lot of times. You break a bone, sometimes you may have to wait 2 months, go get it rebroken and reset.
I'm okay with that.
Forward.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, like I said, there's trade-offs to everything.
Thanks for the cheer.
To potentially get faster care. That's one of those things. But did you hear that Obamacare was ruled unconstitutional?
Undead Unicorn. I know, I heard.
Okay.
Undead Unicorn, you said it yesterday.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
Fuck the Constitution.
I mean,
speaking of history, there's something that needs to be rewritten. Undead Unicorn said, pharmaceutical care, haha, I have health care for free. Well, free, quote unquote, when I'm old enough, I still have to pay taxes for it.
It ain't free.
I don't remember. How old are you, Undead Unicorn? I know you've told this before, but I forget.
7.
Probably early 20s, I'd imagine, if he's in school. In uni.
He could be really advanced 7-year-old.
16.
Oh, wow.
He's a very brilliant 16-year-old.
17. Wow.
Yeah, people say that America has the highest educational system in the globe. No.
We're way behind. I think we were, what, 23rd or 24th or something?
Somehow we have, like, some of the best scientists and...
Well, yeah.
Doctors. Oh, it's because we pay the most.
Small percent. Well, and also, yeah, places like, Silicon Valley and stuff will import people from different places and pay them.
According to worldtop20.org,
it's interesting.
The current ranking for 2018, number 1 was South Korea. Number 2 is Finland. Number 3 is Norway. Number 4 is Russia. Number 5 is Hong Kong. Number 6, Japan. Number 7, Estonia. Number 8, Latvia. Number 9, Israel. Number 10, Sweden. Number 11, Lithuania. Number 12, Denmark. Number 13, Ireland. Number 14, Taiwan Province. Number 15, Kazakhstan. Number 16, Slovenia. 17, Georgia. 18, Singapore. 19, Cyprus. 20, China. 21, United Kingdom. 22, Croatia. 23, Poland. 24, Italy. 25, Saudi Arabia. 26, United States.
26.
27, Mexico.
We're just beating Mexico.
We are just a hair over Mexico.
Yikes. I mean, it's not like they have a civil war and, complete chaos in the streets or anything, but...
Jenny said, Josh, have you heard about how Rand Paul is going to Canada for surgery?
No, I have not. Tell me more.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, Rand Paul going to Canada?
Rand Paul is to travel to Canada for hernia surgery. He says the free market pushed him to Canada for surgery.
Free market. Interesting. How does that work if he's a U.S. citizen anyways, going to Canada for healthcare stuff?
If you pay for it out of pocket, you can probably pay for it out of pocket, but paying for it out of pocket is probably way cheaper than paying for it.
I'm sure. But, I mean, it would be cheaper to also go to Mexico or something. So it's like...
Going to bus 6-7.
I don't know.
Care to...
Maybe that makes a difference.
Well, I mean, there's nothing in it. That doesn't matter. But anyway. Just wondering if you had something going to it.
No.
But yeah, I had to deal with Canada healthcare when I was there.
Well, this article says Kentucky Senator Rand Paul said he made the ultimate capitalist decision by choosing to go to Canada instead of the United States for hernia surgery. News of the Kentucky Republican surgery went viral this week after the Courier-Journal reported about the planned outpatient operation at a privately administered hospital in Ontario. The surgery is related to an injury Paul suffered in 2017 when his neighbor attacked him while Paul was mowing his lawn, leaving him with 6 broken ribs and a bruised lung.
Damn.
Critics have called out Paul for supposed hypocrisy because the ophthalmologist turned politician has rallied against universal health care and socialized medicine, and Canada's healthcare system is based on both. Paul has made it one of his primary talking points when trying to garner support for his association healthcare plans. But Paul said he made the best free market decision available. I looked for a place that did that type of surgery, a place that actually accepts Americans who pay cash, Paul said in an interview with Wave 3 News in Washington, D.C. It's a private hospital. The funny thing is people had an agenda and wanted to attack me. Said, oh, you're going to choose socialized medicine? I'm actually choosing capitalistic medicine because they only take cash from foreigners. Paul is getting surgery at Shouldice Hernia Hospital in Thornhill, Ontario. In Canada, medical care is publicly funded and universally provided through the country's provincial Ministry of Health, and everyone receives the same base level of care.
Yep. So that's essentially the whole thing about that socialized healthcare. Is
I agree,
people
Jenny.
start providing, privatized healthcare, and anybody who has any money ends up switching to that because the socialized programs are so FUBAR.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not fast enough. Like I said, it's essentially a gridlock system because everybody's on it. And so when everybody's on it, you can go get checked for any little ailment you feel like. People just, block up the system. There's a lot of people, and I forget what the sickness is called, but they believe they're sick constantly. And those type of people will use up something like 90% of the resources they've looked at in like Canadian hospitals. And so it's a huge issue. As much as you want to try to facilitate that kind of stuff, and I'm all for trying to help as many people as possible, I think that there are strategies that you can implement that are slightly better than socialized healthcare. And I could be wrong, but just from the data that I've seen so far, it just doesn't seem like it's plausible or that it's good, functional, especially in a place like America that's so widespread and different.
And people with money are going to go to better
Well, yeah, it's
places
just going to
anyway.
open up private institutions like they do in Canada, and then, like I said, anybody who has any kind of money is just going to go to those programs or start switching jobs to find the right health care,
Right.
I had health care, like when I first got gout, I was in Canada. It was the very first time I had a gout flare, and didn't know what the hell it was at first. And,
There's some New York colleges that are offering college for free as well. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
And
Just wanted to chat.
yeah, I was like illegal as hell there. Like no insurance, no nothing. They still took care of me.
Dude, what?
And they're like, so you're American? Yep. You have health insurance? Nope. Are you here legally? Nope. All right. Well, here's some medicine. Blah blah. It's just this. Blah blah.
I mean, we
Cool.
pretty much do the same thing in America. Oh, you're from Mexico? You got any papers? Oh, well, I'm not going to let you die. Come on in. Fuck.
So, Dad said part of our system is that we're being charged for people going into hospitals who neglected preventative care.
Exactly.
Duane said, wow, Unicorn, I'm impressed, bro. Uber intelligence already in life. Dad said Germany offers college now for virtually free, according to the economist Richard Wolff. I heard this morning.
Unfortunately, like healthcare is it costs way too much for like especially like I can't afford healthcare. Like even if I was making like to buy it myself, it's ridiculous.
Right.
It like
I get it.
and on top of that, thinking about how much it costs every month, like is it financially? I mean, yes, it's kind of financially smart to avoid dying in major things, but it's really a gamble. It's like, do you think you're gonna get cancer? Yeah, you think you're gonna get like some major thing that you're in the next 20 years?
So you're saying it's just like car insurance?
Yeah, it's
You're paying
not
into something
worse.
that
you're not getting shit out of.
Well, if you're taking preventative measures, then that's why
And you're
people
especially
wanted to opt out of the Obamacare. They didn't want to be forced to pay for health care if they're
get
taking good care of themselves.
Yeah, so if they're eating right, they're exercising, they have decent genetics, and their likelihood of getting some major thing, like why should they be paying $600 a month for health care or something like that? Like that's what my dad was paying. He was paying like $600 or $700 a month for health care when my mom, like for him and my mom, and it was just insane. I mean, I get it, she was like sick and had to have So they're like, oh, she's sick. We're gonna charge you a fortune.
Yeah.
Here's like,
They have you by the balls at that point.
yeah,
You need them.
yeah, you're screwed, or you're just gonna die right away. You're basically like paying an exorbitant amount of money to get a few more years of life, essentially. They'll hold you hostage.
So Jenny said, "Why?
Thanks for the cheer.
Got him.
Why should? While Shoulder's hernia Hospital is privately owned, it receives a majority of its funding from the Ontario government and accepts the Ontario's hospital insurance plan. Paul is just full of shit. He's getting paid by the insurance industry, so he says shit to get them paid, which is probably very possible.
I mean, he said he's paying out of pocket. Just because that place deals with socialized medicine, that's for the people who live there and are on the social health care plan.
Right.
He's going to go and pay out of pocket. He's going to go pay his hard-earned American dollars. I mean, that is capitalism. That is the free market at work. I don't know why that angers Jenny. I mean,
There's athletes that go like to other places that allow
Mexico and stuff
for stem
cells injections.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that.
I thought about doing it since my back injury. You know, it's just I don't understand. There's different programs and there's different styles of medicine.
We're going to get to an article today. Hopefully, we'll have time. That you're going to really enjoy. I think.
I got 10 minutes.
Huh?
I got 10 minutes before I got to take off.
Oh well, we'll save it for tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Sweet.
Matt said, "I want Michael Jackson's old doctor."
Me too. He'll give you all the drugs.
Jenny said,
Anything
"Josh,
you want.
are you effectively saying unhealthy individuals are more expensive than healthy people?"
Huh, I know. Strange concept, right?
Undead Unicorn says Michael Jackson's last word was milk because he referred to his painkillers as milk, and he was asking his doctor to get him more painkillers.
Nigga, milk.
So milk was his code word for painkillers?
I mean, wasn't it cheese pizza for kids in Pizzagate, right? I want them hot dogs and cheese pizza, baby.
I have no idea. Jenny said that doctor got him addicted.
Yeah.
Dad said as long as the insurance companies are on the open market, their stockholders are more important than the clients paying the premiums.
Yes.
Jenny said, "Oh shit, I got a diamond, bitches." Oh, I made her a VIP.
Oh, very nice.
Yep. I gave Undead Unicorn and Jenny some VIP status, so when this channel blows up, we'll be able to tell when it's them chatting. It's a lot easier.
Hopefully
when
they're
see their
sharing
icon.
our videos on their socials. That would be nice. Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a nice.
Go to the YouTube and make sure that you subscribe there too. Just the fact that they're here chatting with us almost every time we're live now, I'm okay with that. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, much love, guys.
Dad said as long as, let's see, we already got that part. Where am I at? Shout out to Willie Everstop for making a hail. Dad said the government program will curtail that division of funds from the things needed to stockholders, which is part of HR 1, I believe.
It is.
That's why I need to get yesterday's episode chopped up and send you the link for the HR 1 part of it, Dad, because I think you can Google search HR 1, but it's pretty fascinating and very necessary. Duane said, "I'll come through in about a half hour. I'm at the doctor at the moment." Tell the doctor to fuck off, Duane. Dad said, "I don't think all of his, Rand Paul, American money is that hard earned." I don't either.
Cactus.
I think they're taking a lot of money from super PACs. They're getting a lot of gifts handed to them.
For sure.
Jenny said, because Canada is a country with socialized medicine and that system produced a hospital which is superior to American ones. However, he constantly is disparaging the system he is using. Yeah. Do we expect any politician to not be hypocritical?
No,
Thanks for the cheer.
But I don't understand how their hospitals are better. I mean, I still would like to hear that argument be made because from everything I've heard stated, they're inferior in every way. They're slower. It takes longer to get to the health care that you need. It's less personalized. It's just long, wait times and dealing with stressful situations.
Canada?
We've heard that too, but I don't.
They pretty much move it up by like need basis. So even if you are in line, if somebody comes in and now they have a broken something, your ass is to the back of the line.
So when I lived up there, my girlfriend at the time, her name was Kim. She
Name is irrelevant.
I don't know.
Name's
just Kim.
Name has been withheld to
It could be Kardashian. You don't know.
Kimberly.
Some names have been changed to protect the innocent.
They haven't been. She used to get kidney stones super bad. Sometimes you have to wait like a week and a half to go in for the surgery thing. And just because.
I thought they couldn't do surgery. I thought they had to pass them.
Well, the ultrasonic surgery.
Oh, they can like break them up or something.
So if they're big enough, they won't pass.
Yeah.
They were gonna do that to me like last year, I think it was, when I had last kidney. But then they just disappeared. Like I stopped. Like I think I passed. Like it was like.
You probably passed them.
But I didn't know I passed them. That was the thing, and I didn't feel it or anything. It was like 6 millimeters.
Do you know what was causing them?
It was kidney stones.
Do you know what was causing the kidney stones? Is what I'm saying. Bad diet choices, or.
Yeah, I mean, I've had them twice in my life. So I mean, yeah, who knows? It could have been like calcium or too much milk.
Yeah,
'cause I was probably drinking a lot of milk at that point.
Can be a lot of things. There's so many chemicals we put in our body from everyday foods now that you never know what's going to react with what and create a chemical reaction inside our body. That's why my penis is like 18 inches long. Undead Unicorn said, "Oh, nice. Do I have a diamond too?" I do have a diamond. This is Wizard. So Wizard must be like on fleek. Do people still use that word?
I don't know.
Lit.
I never liked that.
Lit
word.
is one. I hate lit. Man, that's so lit. Like, shut.
I like lit better than fleek.
Yeah, I suppose.
Thanks for the cheer.
It looks disgusting.
Dad said, "I'm still here." Tom Hartman must be boring right now. Undead Unicorn said, "Unpopular opinion, goat's milk over cow's milk. Same with goat's cheese."
I prefer human's milk. I'm just kidding.
Breast milk?
Breast milk.
No, not breast milk.
Man milk?
Finger milk.
Okay, we're done here.
Cactus milk.
Cactus milk.
Cactus milk.
I was waiting for that.
I'll allow it.
If we're talking free healthcare right now, let me tell you the NHS is a mess, and it's not entirely a fundamental flaw, but it is very difficult to get free healthcare right.
Yes.
This is a 16-year-old, man.
I know, man. He's blowing my mind.
Jenny said, "Oh, I am old, 27. Well, we all got you beat, Jenny from the block.
I'm 230.
Dad said there's a few who aren't hypocritical, but at this time more on the other side, in part because of Citizens United. I can't disagree with that, but every single politician's taking a little bit of money from somebody. They probably shouldn't. I know it's a bold statement, but I'd be surprised to hear different.
Everybody's got their hand
Except
in the cookie jar. Even Bernie.
I was being sarcastic.
Even Bernie. What happened with his wife? Didn't his wife do some corrupt shit?
I don't think she did. I think there was...
She was just dumb and negligent.
No, I think what happened is somebody tried to overplay that she did some dumb shit. Just like the Pence's wife story from the elementary school yesterday. Just some got completely exploded because they were trying to find a reason to make Bernie look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
But it failed. That's why that story didn't last. Undead Unicorn said, "I remember I read the story of an old woman in Cardiff who died because it took 6 hours for an ambulance to unload her into the hospital." So the ambulance just sat there with her waiting for a gurney?
I mean, I've heard some
nuts.
crazy-ass stories.
Dad said big pharma is big corporations at work. Yes, it is. Undead Unicorn said just because of the sheer number of bureaucracy and people that goes on with public health care, that was in part due to the government's mishandling of the NHS. Dad said certain things shouldn't be privatized. I absolutely agree.
Like prisons?
Prisons. Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Speaking of things that are privatized and are government funded, you know, like the broad scope of this government shutdown that we're dealing with now that we're into day 28. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or 18?
That's the record, right now?
Yeah.
No,
second.
short.
Or it's the second largest.
Yeah,
second longest.
16 days or something during like the Obama shutdown. Or something.
But
we're at 28 days now.
Yeah,
So we're the longest now.
Yeah.
WIC programs are shut down. Food stamp programs are allotting a little bit from reserve funds, but it's not nearly enough to get anybody through the next month. And they're not sure that once it catches up that they'll be able to add any more, and people are just going to have to wait till the next month to catch up. There's going to be a lot of hungry kids in this country over the next few weeks.
Yeah, is that not a national state of emergency?
It should be.
Like, I feel like that should trump the wall situation indefinitely.
Absolutely.
Hungry American
Fuck your
kids.
wall and feed America.
Yeah, I mean, you know, not that I co-sign him, but I'll defend good decisions and bad decisions.
Right.
I just try to look at it as objectively as possible.
And
this is bullshit. He's hurting American citizens, and it's over something that is not, in my opinion, a true national emergency.
He's throwing a fit. Like, we have gotten this far without a wall.
Yeah.
Okay? Whether or not you believe a wall is that important is kind of insignificant on the broader scale that so many people are suffering right now.
Yes.
Section 8 programs. Where's the money coming from so those Section 8 people can pay their rent right now?
Yeah.
That was actually Somebody had posted a really good post.
Chaz,
Chaz, you saw that?
Yeah, I read it.
I was like, I'm wondering, like,
and I'll pull that up in a second.
Can landlords kick people out because the state didn't?
The problem is they.
How does that work?
Probably. Honestly.
Here's the deal. The problem is they can, even though it's against the law. So if you are a tenant under one of these landlords who is breaking the law, you can take your landlord to court after they evict you. Who has that kind of resources after they get evicted to be able to take their landlord to court if they're on Section 8?
Come directly from the government and go directly to the landlord, or does
I believe
it go?
so.
Yeah.
So if the person pays their whatever their portion, in Chaz's analogy, it was $100, right?
Right.
So if they pay that $100, are they held? Or is the tenant held liable for the government not paying their portion? How does that work?
How does that work? That's a good question, but at the same time, a landlord can also evict somebody without any reason to evict somebody. They can just say, "I don't want you living in my establishment anymore."
Yeah.
Well,
if they give you a reason that's illegal, then they're breaking the law. But if they say, I just want my place vacant, I want to move my daughter in,
they still have to give you like 30 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then some states.
But how many people that are on Section 8 can afford to be kicked out?
Well,
none. Nobody can come up with a first and
last
for a new place.
In California, like squatters have rights, for example. Like this is a different thing.
They do in Oregon and Washington too.
It's not as much as California. Because California, it can take a minimum of 90 days to kick a squatter out.
Yeah.
So and you can't do anything as a landlord. Like so, if you're trying to rent someplace, somebody pops in there and you're like, oh nope, I live here now.
I think it depends on the county.
Yeah.
But most counties are a 60-day waiting period just to see a judge if you want to evict somebody.
Yeah.
In California. So catching up, Dad said, "Okay, that did it. I'm leaving." Just kidding. Over the Bernie Sanders thing. When I said Bernie Sanders is taking privatized money.
Oh.
Dad said Warren, Bernie Sanders, David McDevitt, who is a local. And you know what? Like I said, I would be surprised to see if there was any significant amounts, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few $1,000s from Wells Fargo here and there, a few $1,000s from, a paper mill that is actually owned by Koch brothers, but it's a charitable contribution that they can write off or whatever.
Yeah.
Jenny said, "I believe some public good should privatize as long as I am a shareholder in the private equity fund doing the privatization or having a position in that specific fund." Haha, that was funny. As long as I am a shareholder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she was making a joke.
I see.
I'm going to assume you're making a joke, Jenny. Another thing that's being affected by this government shutdown is domestic violence abuse shelters.
There's a lot of shit being
They're funded, federally funded. So what's going to happen when they're the employees that are not getting paid to facilitate these domestic abuse shelters? They're like, I can't afford to be here anymore. I have to go find a day job.
Then women got to go back to the abusive husbands
or to the streets.
Yeah, this whole thing is not good.
2 more weeks of this can create a homelessness epidemic in this country. Yeah,
and like I said, that's a national state of emergency.
And if it's the last shutdown, I believe it was during the spring and summer, so we probably didn't realize it as much. People were like, I'm just going to go camping for a couple weeks. Even though there's nobody to clean up the fucking toilets and the garbage cans.
2 weeks isn't huge, and that's not shutting down most social programs and,
right.
When
you're the heart of winter, it's a different story.
Okay, I got to get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, brother.
Have a good one, everybody.
Adios.
Don't forget your phone.
Undead Unicorn said one of the greatest mistakes my country made was mass privatization, so I'm super against privatization. I am too. But in a country like America, a large chunk of things are already privatized, and your country has developed around that. We have and we haven't. We've developed a huge separation between social classes as a result of that. It's created a lot of animosity between the societies. And there's a lot of hatred between American people that has to do with
that face means
social divide.
Just kidding.
I don't know.
Not the bottom. In chat.
Oh, your face? Oh.
No, it's.
Oh, I see.
I don't know what.
That's what I assume. It's Twitch slang. We haven't learned all the Twitch slang yet. So. Sorry, I'm
I
not hip. Huh?
I gotta get a haircut.
You got to get a haircut?
Not the second, but
That was awfully random. Dad said privatization is mainly the war on the 1% on the 99% because, like David Koch said, I just want my fair share, and that's everything. Yes, that is true. Jenny said tenant laws vary from state to state. That is very true. Undead Unicorn said there's a big issue of corruption and monopolies forming around government contracts with privatization. Dad said not the tenant so much, but the owner often bases mortgage payment on all income related, which apparently is now illegal in Washington, and I'm going to get to that in a second.
yeah, that's.
I want to do some research and find out if there's truth, but there's a thing circulating around social media that I'm gonna read, and then we'll do some research on it later. Jenny said corruption is a part of the human experience, thus oversight and regulations are necessary. Dad said in the age of Citizens United, it's difficult. That's very true. Young Dead Unicorn put us up on slang for Twitch slang. Put us up on gang. Appreciate that, bruh. And now I'm. Oh.
I want to be a Twitch like emoji, my own face.
You will eventually.
Oh. Okay.
Eventually, we're gonna get so big that we're gonna have our own faces for.
We can do that now, though, right?
I think we can only have one.
Oh.
Because of the tier we're at.
Oh.
Something like that. We gotta do some more research.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I think when you get to affiliate, you unlock one, and that's why we have the FunkShop TV logo.
Oh. Well, shit.
But as we reach certain achievements, we can unlock more.
Oh. I didn't know. Knowing is half the battle.
Mitchell, what up? Mitchell Trubisky. What's good with you? Dad said lots of opportunity to invest without making it in the commons. Jenny said, you are correct, Mom. However, when greed is the motivator, which is a lot of America, even the 99% is greedy as shit. Old Mom said, that's my dad, the commons are the things belonging to we the people, roads, schools, prisons, military defense, natural resources, and more, which are all social programs. But so many people think that socialism is horrible. Socialism is what keeps a lot of these programs in this country alive. So here's the article.
We just need a balance.
We do need a balance. Who y'all got going to the Super Bowl? I don't care anymore because it's not Seattle.
I'm predicting New Orleans versus the Patriots.
Okay. I don't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Though KC is fucking good.
I would love to see Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
That quarterback they got.
I've always been like a secret Kansas City fan ever since Christian Okoye was there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And when Joe Montana went there, Joe Montana is to me is one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game.
Boom, phone call. So, hopefully we'll talk about Nexium here soon, maybe. He's taking an important call from the president right now. So, it's Jenny from the block. Damn, it's on me. I have to hold the show down. That's insane. I'm on the wrong computer to pull anything up. So, I guess it's just my face. So, how's everyone? Let's see. I'm going to just read some comments until he gets back, I guess. Where were we? Super Bowl. Undead Unicorn. What's freaking annoying me is Theresa May's husband is the CEO of a security firm, and she happened to contract a large portion of the prison security to the same security firm. That is a problem. That is a big problem. 95% just trying to survive. Why do the billionaires want more their fair share? I've been outspoken fan of Mahomes, yep, the KC quarterback. And billionaires do what billionaires do. Their drive is to, their whole drive is to be successful. And when that, I think anybody who has that kind of drive, generally speaking, and obviously there's some people that just get money from their relatives or get passed down from generation to generation. I don't know how many billionaires have billions passed down. I don't think there's very many of those. But anyway, the problem with people, billionaires, is their drive to succeed. I don't think, it doesn't matter how successful you get, you're always going to never feel like you've gotten there. That's kind of what got them there in the first place. So, yeah, I mean, there's no way for them to really stop. It's just is what it is. Jenny, because the high score of the raisin. What? Because okay, I mean, I don't know what that even says. But because money. All right. This weekend's came going to be cold. Oh yeah, definitely. It's cold here. It's cold everywhere right now. Trubisky greater than Mahomes. Maybe Brady's age won't cope as well with the cold. Yeah, but he's been. I mean, it's not like it's anything new to him. I mean, that's just where he's been playing. I honestly think Brady is probably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game at this point. To be honest, like this, stats don't lie. If you had if the stats for what's his face for the Saints, the quarterback for the Saints, I forget his name off the top of my head. If he'd been to a few more Super Bowls, won a few more Super Bowls, you could have he's, I think, one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever play the game as well. Money becomes a high score, and the reason. Okay, so I get what you're saying. Yeah, so they're how much money they have is a metric to them for like a comparison to other people. So I get it. I can't stand Brady, but I won't get against him. Statistically, Brady is the best ever who have played. I agree, Duane. And I'm a 49er fan. I grew up watching Joe Montana, and at this point, sorry, Joe is no longer the greatest to ever play. I don't even know what a quarterback is beyond hearing children on American TV shows saying they want to be one. Well, the quarterback is kind of like the general on the field playing the game. They see what's going on. They have to adjust, and it's like I grew up playing football, played quite a few years. I understand the game pretty damn well as far as how the game is played, like the technical things behind it, and it's quite impressive what they do. Indifference, the driving motivator behind Trump, has resulted in people getting killed, cheated, and now missing paychecks. Yeah. Shawn, you're thinking of Drew Brees. Yes, that's who I was thinking of. Not the greatest yet, but he's definitely in the top 5. Old mom, I'm gone. All right. And Duane's later. All right, cool.
Right,
and Paul's back just in time as I read through all those comments.
Are you caught up?
Yeah.
Nice. Weekend's game is going to be cold. Trubisky, Mahomes. It is. It definitely is. I hope Brady gets his head ripped off. It's just me. So
he'll probably win another Super Bowl. Well, actually, if it is Breeze and Brady in the Super Bowl, who has the better record? Who has the
Brady.
home? Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter who has the home. Where's the Super Bowl being held at this year? Do you know? Is it indoor or is it outdoor?
Look it up.
If it's outdoor and it's cold, Super Bowl, Brady, I think, has the advantage.
I agree.
If it's moderate temperature, especially if it's indoors, I think Breeze has the advantage.
Duane said Patriots won't win a Super Bowl this year. I hope you're right. Saints got to get past the Rams this weekend. that could be rough.
I think all four of these teams, it could be any combination. Like, they're all damn good teams this year.
Patriots are at Kansas City this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So they have to overcome that. Which, if any team,
watch it, Undead. Watch it. Said you guys should have real football as your major sporting event instead of poor man's rugby.
Yeah, you know.
I hate soccer.
Yeah, it's too much running. Soccer is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. It's not. It's just running around kicking a ball. Rugby is more entertaining than soccer.
Oh,
It's
Super
called
Bowl is
soccer
in
here.
Atlanta this year.
It's called football over there.
Football.
It's
It's
there should
soccer.
be an extra O.
It's soccer. Duane said, I love soccer, but only during the World Cup. I don't love soccer anytime.
The only thing I love about soccer is D Storm's song about soccer.
I'm not familiar with that.
He made a video song about the World Cup a few years back.
Oh.
It was entertaining. The video was entertaining.
So the thing that's going around I wanted to read, it says, in September it became illegal in Washington State for a landlord to discriminate against a tenant or potential tenant based on the source of their income. Income requirements, for example, needing to make a household income of double the rent, which is not true anymore. A lot of them for the last few years have been triple the rent. Needing to make a household income of double the rent must only be calculated based on the potential tenant's share of the rent.
Or 3.5 times the rent it was for a while in some places. Sometimes 4.
So say rent is $1,000, tenant only makes $200 but receives $900 in federal housing benefits, their portion is $100. They are qualified and cannot be denied based on their income. There's a bunch of people living in places paying rent with Section 8 vouchers that are about to stop coming in because of the government shutdown, and a bunch of landlords forced to rent to those people against their better judgment who are about to stop receiving rents. Excuse me.
Just blowing up.
I am. Hello.
See if I can find that. Continue that. No. Jesus. Got too many chat windows open. Close.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin on behalf of Go Cancun Dreams. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Hi, Kevin. This is Richard.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
That's good to hear. I'm doing good, too. Please understand this isn't a random call. You've qualified for travel credits to be applied towards a vacation in paradise. I just need to check availability and make sure you qualify. Is your area code 360?
That's correct.
Can you just say he qualified?
Okay, now I just want to make sure that you are qualified. Are you between the ages of 30 and 65?
That is also correct.
And do you have a credit card in your name to check in at the resort?
I sure do.
If you're married, do you travel with your spouse?
I'm not married, but I do have a significant other.
Okay. Congratulations, you would qualify for this promotion. Now the vacation covers up to 2 adults and 2 kids under 12, if any. Who do you normally travel with? Just you and your significant other?
Yep, just me and my significant other.
And the 14 children
Okay,
I
so
have.
you would qualify, sir. Please understand that I can only hold on to this promotion until the end of the phone call. Since it is at a promotional price today and it's tied to a promotional code, keep in mind you have a full 3 years to travel, so don't concern yourself with any travel dates or who you would bring with you. Fair enough?
Yeah, sounds good.
Again, my name is Kevin. The idea behind our promotion today is to help bring you to paradise, let you
Just
enjoy a
reading the
fabulous
script.
vacation, and treat you like royalty for a week. We know that once you experience our resorts... Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I got a text message.
Okay. You'll travel with us in the future,
God.
and most importantly, What's that?
Somebody sent me a nude text. It's not that they're interrupting us. Sorry, go continue.
Well, those aren't that bad to get.
It depends. Like when you get sent a picture of a 14-year-old penis, it's not very pleasant.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it depends on who.
Did I say 14-year-old? I meant 14-inch. Shit, my bad. When you get a picture, I see this nudie pic has totally threw me off tilt.
You get on the pedophile watch list.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
He just like, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, did you hear what he said? You shouldn't have said that. You will get on the pedophile watch list. Whoops. I meant to say 14. 14-inch penis. What's
funny is the whole video is recorded, so you won't get on any watch list.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I shared a bear video. I don't know if you saw it.
I did not.
Oh, later we should watch it. It's epic.
I did. We derail these conversations all the time. Now our goal is to try to keep them on the line as long as we can, because that's harder than just. It's easy to get them to hang up on you. It's real easy. So back to the article. It says, and a bunch of landlords forced to rent to those people against their better judgment who are about to stop receiving rents, and a bunch of people who will be evicted for non-payment of rent and replaced by people who can pay. My question is, will that cause the rental market to go up or down? There will be more places available to people who make a decent income, but there will also be more people looking for units having been recently evicted. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what
supply and demand says, as the demand gets higher, the price goes up. But
I don't think the prices are not going to just drop all of a sudden.
They're not. They're definitely not going to drop.
Like there's still there's still a massive need for housing for people.
A lot of the rental markets around here, the rental companies, they're managed by companies in California anyways. They don't give two shits what happens here.
Yeah.
They don't care.
It's like before I had
ungraduated gamer, what up?
I was looking for places before, like I would have to find independent people that own the place. I couldn't go through like some larger management company. They would always it would be like, oh
that's
yeah,
scary.
we'll take your application. Basically, I'd be burning money by paying $75 or whatever for an application fee just to be turned down.
Ungraduated gamer, where are you from? Hello, and where are you calling from?
I've seen you both somewhere. We've been on the internets before.
The internets. We've been running this podcast for
275
4 years. Off and on.
years.
I think in burazers.in.
Yeah, I as far as the housing thing, I don't think much.
Ungraduated gamer, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say there. Mason Kills coming in with a random.
Part of me thinks you should, and I know this isn't like going to be popular or even, but like part of me thinks like you should be stacking some money aside. Like you should have a quote unquote rainy
Mason
day
Kills
fund.
is the bot.
So like if shit happens, you can still make sure you're not getting evicted. You know what I mean? Like in this case, like if the government's paying 90% of your rent, you should have had at least 1 or 2 months set aside somewhere to save. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but if you've been living like off the government for a while, you should have been like trying to stack up some money, doing other things.
Point being, everybody should have a reserve.
Yeah. Ideally, reality is not everyone does, but there's a thing called the internet. And the internet's a pretty cool place. You can make money on it. There's lots of ways to do it. So if you're a single mom, for example,
is there really a lot of ways to do it though?
There's a shitload of ways. So, like, for
You're
example...
going to have to fill me in, because I want to know how...
Well, there's things... I mean, I'll let you know. Here, let me get to the story here.
Porn botting?
I mean, that's one way, especially if you're a single mom. That's just one way. I'm not saying everyone should do that.
Think anybody would pay me to
Are you a
post
single
nude
mom?
pictures? I mean, I can pretend like I got kids.
But are you a mom?
I mean, no, but I can pretend like I got kids.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could try it. I'm sure you'd make a few dollars. Somebody would donate for something, maybe to put the clothes back on. So speaking about this whole like thing, I know. What is going on?
I'm just checking audio, bro. Continue.
Oh. So I know this female who has been complaining about this whole thing that's going on with rent.
Duane said, what if you identify as a single mom?
And she, for a long time, she's been like, "Oh, I need a job. I'm trying to get a job, blah blah." But she only can work like 2 hours a day, kind of thing. Like nobody's willing to work with me. Well, you have zero skills at anything. Like all you do is smoke weed. That's your skill, and you have a super limited schedule because you have kids and you have no one to watch them, which I understand. And I've given you options. I've told you basically she has no drive or effort to think outside the box and think, well, maybe working from home is finding a way to make income from home is be the smart way to do things, since you clearly can't go spend time outside of home doing a job of any kind. So maybe you should, like, I don't know, sell things on eBay. Like, there's a super simple...
My mom's in eBay, has an eBay store.
To supplement her income she's already getting. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty common sense to me. Like, if you're living so tightly, you're completely dependent on the government handing you money every month. Because and half of the money you get from the government, you go spend on weed because you're quote unquote seizures or whatever. Like, don't you think you should either stop smoking so much weed and then set some of that money aside, or if you can't do that, then and you really need it, then find another way to make income. You can get on, like I said, you can get on eBay. You can easily make $400 or $500 a month without even that much trouble on eBay. Start off by picking up free shit on Craigslist, or go to the local Goodwill and stuff. Buy and sell stuff. It's not that hard. Do a little research. Spend a little time.
Get your hustle on.
Or, I don't know, if you're an attractive female, it's pretty easy to get on places like Twitch and gain a following over the course of 6 months.
All you got to do is show a little cleavage and sit and talk for 6 hours, and you could almost make a full-time living.
Yeah. And you could be doing, while that's building up, you could be doing eBay. You could be doing other things. There's so many avenues. You could start a YouTube channel. You could do all kinds of things. There's
Jenny,
so many avenues, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna be screwed. I need the government. I'm not gonna be paying my rent. Blah blah, because you're just being fucking lazy. Like, I don't feel bad for you because you're fucking lazy. That's just the reality. There's so many fucking people that do that just want to sit around and do nothing, and then they're like, oh,
well,
I'm screwed.
We've kind of developed a society that is lazy and making up excuses because they expect a trophy to be handed to them. But that's very Republican of me, I know. Damn snowflakes.
Though I do, I as time's gone on, I've kind of become more and more favor of the universal income thing that we talked about the other day. I think.
Yeah, that was yesterday. The $1,000 a month for.
Yeah, and there's people talking about, like, I was watching Joe Rogan too, a recent Joe Rogan podcast last night, and they were actually talking about the exact same thing. And there was people talking about, experts talking about like $3,000 or $3,500 a month for each adult. whatever that price is, if you could like find that to take basic needs away, yeah, you're gonna have people that aren't gonna do shit. They're gonna sit on their ass just like that. But I think you're also gonna have people like myself or they're still motivated to do things, and it'll free up more time for them to be that much more benefit to society and more successful. So I think that you're going to get rid of things like food stamps. You're going to get rid of all those, like, for the most part, like Social Security and all that. So you probably can make up most of that money just from the basic social things that we have in place already and just apply it differently. So I think it would be beneficial across
the allure
society.
of money can incentivize people, also social status. Absolutely true.
And so, like, I think no matter, like, people that are driven that want to be successful, even if they have their basic necessities met, they're still going to want to go beyond that. You know what I mean? So I don't think it would be I don't think everyone would just be sitting on their ass. I think, in fact, you'd probably have more people chasing the things that they want to do, and I think people would generally, as a population, would probably be more happy, would be more, just a general, our happiness levels will probably go up as far as the general population, because you won't be going to jobs that you don't want to do. So I think there'd be less of it anyway.
So, Shawn,
Yeah.
you wanted to touch. Are you guys familiar with the Alaska Permanent Dividend Fund? Yes, I am. I've got a friend that's
bear video.
I was going to get into the Nexium thing. Where's this bear video?
It's on my page. That way, it's just a little quick thing. That way, I posted it 11 hours ago. The title said.
I do know a lot of
Holy
people
crap,
in
insane
Alaska
bear
that get the Alaska Permanent Dividend Fund that spend it on a lot of stupid shit, and then 6 to 8 months after the dividend funds come out, or maybe even sooner, you could always go to pawn shops and get some really cool shit for cheap, because people go and spend their dividend fund on stupid shit, and then
But in a way, doesn't that like kind of help the economy in some ways?
yeah.
Even the negative people doing dumb shit.
Oh, I can imagine the Alaska economy would probably be horrid without their oil company kickbacks.
This footage is insane. It's just this background music. Dude, look how fast that bear is just running down that hill. Another bear just sprinting up the tree.
Whoa!
So mother bear is protecting her cubs from a black bear. So she's doing it.
So it's the brown bear is the mother bear?
Yeah. Because black bears kill cubs.
Yeah. Brown bears will kill cubs. They don't. Bears
Well,
in
male.
general, they don't give a shit. Yeah, males don't give a shit.
They're like 60, 70, 80 feet in the air.
The fact that somebody caught this on video is crazy.
Yeah.
Ninja bear does whatever a ninja bear does.
Well, if they both, if that brown bear goes too crazy and they both fall off, they're both dead.
Pawn Stars is interesting. Duane's on his way. So the male bears eat cubs to
So they can,
So they can
run
mate?
away. Yeah, so they can mate, basically.
That's crazy.
And And the bears look so small in this, but they're fucking huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize it could scale trees that fast.
Oh, yeah. That's why, like, running up a tree, climbing a tree is not going to help you. The bear comes out.
She made sure to mark the tree. Jesus.
Just ripping tree branches off. It's crazy how like Mother Nature is like made the because of like the adaptation of their genetics and stuff over time. Like the female bears are like bigger and stronger than the male bears. Male's like, oh, I'm out of here. That bitch is crazy.
What up, Boris? Boris wants to know, man, that is cool. That's really amazing.
Yeah, you don't
Juicebox Heroes said you need to give me the link to this. You got it. What up? Thanks for being here. Juicebox Heroes, one of my favorite people. I will get you. Actually, I'll post the URL here. Shawn, where are you going, bro? Boris wants to know what your political ideology is. Political ideology, it depends on the particular subject. Completely depends on what we're talking about. Because the certain set of ethical ideals, principles, doctrines, myths, or symbols of social movement, institution, class, or large group that explains how society should work and offers some political and cultural blueprint for a certain social order don't necessarily fit a party or a platform. I tend to lean very liberal. A lot of me is a social democrat, but fiscally, I'm also somewhat conservative. Absolute monarchist, God save the Queen. To each their own. I'm a very opinionated person, but they don't necessarily if you took all of my opinions and my personal morals and personal beliefs, they could not fit into a political ideology bubble by any means.
And mine's like the Swiss. I'm just right in the. I'm right in the middle. Right in the middle. Yeah.
You can call me whatever you want, Boris. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
I'm gonna assume you're a Trumpian, so anything Trumpians have to say, they don't mean shit to me. Yeah, we're using OBS. And OBS, we're Streamlabs. Streamlabs has done some updates over the past few weeks. A big one a few days ago, and it seems like Windows did a big update, and they don't necessarily coincide with each other. Boris, I don't even know where you're from or what your political ideology is, so you calling me a libtard doesn't bother me at all. I get called worse on a much regular basis. Streamlabs has changed a lot of things over the last week or two, and Windows did a big update, and now everything is really, all of our settings are super, super goofy. We're having to tweak everything way, way far away from where we normally are at.
It's weird. I never get people to call me anything political. They don't say. I never get anyone going, "Oh, you're liberal."
You really don't share political opinions very often.
Yeah, true.
Juicebox said, "Yeah, reasons I don't like OBS, but I was just wanting to go over some settings." I'm always down, bro. Always down for some input. You don't like OBS or Streamlabs OBS? Because OBS is different than Streamlabs OBS, right?
Yeah.
Undead said, I've been called a fascist and Hitlerist by teachers before.
I was called a devil
Could
worshiper
you imagine
by
if a
teacher.
teacher in America called a student a fascist?
I had a teacher when I was in middle school called me a devil worshiper in front of the whole class.
A teacher called you a devil worshiper?
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
Serious, like literally, like straight up.
Like, I can think of some
Called
teachers
me
that
out.
would have called the student devil worshiper, but it would have been in a sarcastic tone.
No, she she took my Dungeons and Dragon books away.
Shut up.
Yeah, and she literally buried them. I had to go get remember, did Coach Waters exist? Or was he around when you went to school there?
I don't think so.
Because he was at Cascade. What junior high did you go to?
Covington.
Oh, okay, I went to this is Cascade Junior High, and Coach Waters, and eventually went up to Evergreen High School like a few years after I went up there. But yeah,
Where was what, Jenny?
it was like
What are you talking
science
about?
class, which is ironic actually. How you would go be in science class and call the devil worshiper, which would be religious based. You know, isn't that kind of weird? Isn't that kind of like she seems super
Somebody that's teaching science but seems to be
So
of a
offended by
Christian
some-
ideology.
was so offended by Dungeons and Dragon books that she doesn't understand. Like,
Undead said, as part of an in-joke on a YouTube video I made, I showed a picture of Oswald Mosley, and the school found out, and the police did a full-on investigation on me for political radicalism. Holy shit. That seems to be taking it quite...
political radicalism.
Cascade Junior High in Vancouver, Washington.
Where is he from? Undead Unicorn?
Britain.
Okay, so it's a completely different fucking
Yeah.
system over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think that would generally happen in most places here. It seems a little like over the. You'd have to go much farther
Oh,
than
yeah.
that for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
to be even talked about here. Yeah, Cascade Junior High.
Free speech in Britain is dead.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I mean,
You can get arrested for saying stuff. It's so dumb. I mean,
you can a little bit here, but it's a little. You have to go a little farther.
You have to go way farther than you used to have to.
Yeah.
It used to be easy to get arrested for saying the wrong thing.
I never felt like. You mean here?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
never felt like.
At one point in American
Maybe
history,
because I'm white.
it was illegal to defame the president. If you said anything negative about the president, you could be thrown in jail.
What's interesting is like, remember when Eminem released that song? He'd rather see the lyric was, "Fuck dead presidents. I'd rather see the president dead."
Yeah.
And that got leaked. And on the actual album, the song that that song got leaked first, right? Before the album came out. And then when the album came out, that lyric was removed. Like even on the not the clean version. I'm talking about like the parental advisory version.
Yeah,
they took
the
that
lyric
out.
entirely
They
was
bleeped
changed.
that whole. Well, they didn't change it. They just blanked it out. Like they just slid the lyric out. But people still had the original song that was floating around the internet. And like the Secret Service went and interviewed, like had to go talk to him, and it was a big deal at the time. But he obviously did get arrested.
Oh, yeah, because you can find... That was on Encore.
Yeah, that was
We as Americans. And you can find the original uncut. It's on YouTube.
yeah. Because so many people have it, and it just got uploaded in so many places. You aren't taking that off the internet.
Secret Service, this was in 2003. Oh, why aren't you working?
So yeah, they were like, "Is that a death threat?" But then he was like, "No, it's just music."
What is going on?
Essentially, like I'm sure
This is weird.
I shortened. I'm sure that's a very short and condensed version of it, but
So this article was in 2003, but the Secret Service is trying to determine if any action needs to be taken regarding a lyric from rapper Eminem that made a threat to President Bush. The lyric comes from a bootleg Eminem recording, one of several from the rapper made rounds on the internet over the past week. In the song called "We Are American," Eminem sings expletive money. "I don't rap for dead presidents. I'd rather see the president dead." Dennis Dennehy, a spokesperson for the Grammy and Academy Award-winning rapper, told CNN the song was not ready for release. This was an unfinished song, either lost or stolen, Dennehy said. There was no determination where, when, how, or if it was going to be used. A Secret Service probe is routine when something that could be construed as a threat to the president is brought to the agent's attention. Dead presidents is a slang for cash because of the depiction of several presidents on the currency, but the reference to seeing the president dead does not specify the president of the United States. We are aware of the lyric and are in the process of determining what action, if any, will be taken, said Secret Service spokesperson John Gill. The music has been circulating on fan sites, on peer-to-peer networks, and in hip-hop chat rooms. There is no indication that the rapper was complicit in the release of this bootleg song. It would be saying too much to make too big a deal out of this, one Secret Service official said. What the shit?
Huh.
What is that about?
That's not what I said. I said allow the comment.
Did somebody leave a comment that says
Well,
that?
they put that and it got flagged.
Oh, okay.
So I just accepted I read the comment.
It got
and I was like,
flagged automatically by Twitch bots.
Yeah.
Got it.
Accept the thing. Context, Twitch.
Jenny said, post 9/11, I wrote a manifesto about having all Arabs leave America, and this was in a polite, produitely, not quite sure what that word's supposed to be. A Middle Eastern Indian school. Oh, predominantly Middle Eastern Indian school. Lots of fun. I really just did it because the kids were annoying me. I was 10. Oh. Predominantly. I get it now. Undead Unicorn said, I think death threats are understandable, or Automod blocked my message. And the message said, and I'm not defending this guy I disagree with, but still, a man posted on Facebook, fuck Muslims, and was arrested and sentenced to prison. You know, if you're going to blatantly use hatred like that, I'm okay with the penalty. I'm okay with it.
I'm so, like, in the gray area on that. Because, like, the problem is when you start setting precedences for certain things, that line just keeps sliding and sliding and sliding.
But that's not a sliding line. That's freedom of speech is just like any other constitutional right. With rights come responsibilities, and with those.
So if I say right now, fuck this orange bucket.
That orange bucket is an inanimate object. It's not a group of humans.
Okay, how about if I just say
if
fuck
you say
Nazis? I'm gonna say fuck Nazis.
Yes, that is hate speech.
So, but most people are gonna be like, oh, we're okay with saying fuck Nazis.
And that's
right?
part of the problem with today's society is people are picking and choosing their rights and wrongs. If something's going to be right, it needs to be right across the board. And if something's going to be wrong, it needs to be wrong across the board.
So that's my point. That's my whole point. Why not just go let them say what they're going to say and just chastise them? Why put them in prison for words?
Because
words
hate
aren't
speech
magical.
is breaking other people's... You can say they're not magical all day long, but words are magical in the sense that look at the poetry, look at the Ten Commandments in biblical terms, look at the Constitution.
But those are
they're words put together, so they are magical. The way that we can assemble words to construct an entire life.
Yeah, I get it, but isn't it at the end of the day the individual's responsibility to take what they will from that?
Yes and no. Blatantly disrespecting and disregarding a race or a religion.
It's not that I'm saying like you should say that. I'm not saying that you.
I think there should be some sort of penalty for it.
So with that thought process, shouldn't we all throw all blacks in jail that say fuck whitey?
Absolutely.
But we're not going to.
You know why we're not going to? Because American society has some sort of reparations mindset that we need to let them get okay with disrespecting white people because white people disrespected black people for so long, which is not okay by any means. But that is the social reasoning why it's happening.
But it doesn't make it. This is why like it leads down this slippery slope. Like, where does it stop? Like, if you
can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
But if I say something now,
Thumper taught us that.
Well, if you say fuck the president, which you've said many a times on this podcast, like fuck Trump, right? Many a times, or the video playing on the screen, right? I mean, that's the same thing, really.
Right.
So if does it go down like 10 years from now? Can they arrest you for that? Is that okay?
Probably.
But I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can just keep going down this slope instead of being like, okay, let them say it. Now,
disdain for one person is not disdain for a race in general. Like, you can't say men are better than women.
So this is where
that's a sexist comment. But if you say,
I think where this differs, I think, is if you're saying things and getting a group together, and your words are directly causing action of violence. If your words are directly causing action, like violence and that kind of thing,
okay,
then that's where I think the line should be drawn. I don't think it should be drawn at opinion about whatever. Doesn't matter, and it's not that I agree with it or you agree with it.
But if I'm a Muslim and somebody says fuck Muslim, that's infringing upon my constitutional rights.
I don't think so. The reason being is
have you read the Constitution?
No, you can say that, but I mean that's your opinion, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think
if you voice it, in my opinions, Muslims are bad people.
Check one.
That's a completely different thing than saying fuck Muslims.
But people can.
Can a white person get away with saying fuck Negroes?
I mean, they can get it. It doesn't mean I like it, but I mean, what am I going to do?
It's supposed to be illegal.
Well, there's hate crimes, or I know in what is it in Denver, Colorado? I think they have the law to where if let's say Shawn and I get in a fight, right? And I really would. Oh, you're doing it. Okay, cool.
What?
Cool. Then, because usually you do that when it's showing. You know what I mean? Versus when you do it and then hit transition and then it's just already done. You feel me? Anyway.
No, I'm doing it while it's showing. Everybody's watching me adjust the camera.
If Shawn and I got in a fight,
see,
and the cops came, and I'm explaining to the cops, and this is in Denver, Colorado. I'm explaining to the cops.
It's a different law here in Washington.
Yeah, it's a totally different law, but this is the way I think the law should be here.
Mutual combat law.
This is how the law I think should be here in Denver, Colorado. If Shawn and I got in a fight, officer comes at the end of the fight, and he says, "What happened?" And I said, "Well, he dropped that M-bomb on me. He wasn't joking. He was just did it just because to be a dick about it, and we ended up fighting about it. I wouldn't get in trouble for punching him because it goes down as it's not a hate crime, but it's at the same level of a hate crime. But it's with words instead of whooping somebody's ass because they're black or because they're whatever. Right. I can't remember what the fuck of the name of the law is.
Do you think that's okay though?
I don't agree with people yelling out any kind of hatred, but at the same time, I know I'm comfortable enough with myself to where words don't necessarily hurt me, especially if
take yourself out of the equation.
Though. No, I know, but first, if I didn't do anything to warrant somebody lashing out at me, I don't take what anybody says to me personally, like I don't get offended because it has nothing to do with me why they're mad. 9 times out of 10, they're mad about something totally different. It's your
decision to be upset. It's your decision to react to it.
Yeah, it's your decision on how to react to it. It's like a comedian. If a comedian tells a bad joke and they're like, well, if they make a joke about Handyman the other day, right? Let's say we get a fucking complaint. Someone's saying, your joke about not about Handyman, but you guys are making light of handicapped people and that offends me. Well, that's not my fault it offended you. You're choosing to be mad at that.
Yeah.
It's like
it's kind of like if I don't call you by your appropriate pronoun.
Right.
How
if you don't have prior knowledge, like if somebody walked in here that's a girl that used to be a dude.
But even if you do have prior knowledge.
Yeah.
Is it my responsibility to take care of your feelings?
No, but people
point.
want their feelings taken into consideration. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but you're saying is they're not entitled
to have your feelings go the way they want your feelings to go.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. And that makes total sense. It's like, do you see the video of the dude that walked in like McDonald's or a store? And obviously he was in transition. He was still a guy, but he was transitioning. And there was a little argument, like there was an order wrong or something. And the guy's like, he goes, my order's wrong or whatever. And he's like, sir, I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden dude's like, I'm a ma'am. You address me as ma'am or whatever. And the guy's like, ma'am, I apologize. But then the dude wouldn't let it go. He just kept going, I'm a ma'am. And it's like, bro, we get it. It's like, cool. Don't get mad at this motherfucker because he's trying to do his job. And you're choosing to get offended because he called you sir. You're choosing. Yeah. That's a choice. The reaction, how like, it makes you feel, you can't help. That I understand. Yeah. But how you take that feeling and then put it back and then project it to somebody, that's your choice. Yeah. That's a choice. I don't get mad at people. Somebody come up to me, a big ass nigger, you're a piece of shit. All right, like I'm too easy going, but there are people out there that choose to be mad. They choose. They choose.
Because the other day,
but hate speech is illegal in by the Constitution.
Hate speech is like if it's an organized, if you get a group of people together and they're standing around you in the streets and you're preaching.
That's not what hate speach is, though. If somebody came up and said specifically what you just quoted.
That's what we're saying. It should be as opposed to like, because it's so loose termed. It goes down a fucking weird path.
It does. It's super weird.
So where it can lead to the point of like, I have to, like, is my choice of dating somebody who is transgender, is that if I don't date somebody who's transgender, am I?
Are you against transgenders because you're not dating transgenders?
Yeah, absolutely not. You're not saying anything against the transgender. You're just choosing not to date them. No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it kind of will though.
That's like saying if I don't sit at the table with a bunch of black people, does that make me racist?
Right. No, I agree with what you're saying, but I hear what he's going with this.
I'm listening.
They're getting offended, like they get offended about. When I say they, I'm just generally saying. Well, anybody, but in this specific case, I'm saying that like, sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
Does that sound?
Fuck, man.
It is a weird rabbit hole you go down when people are entitled. Yeah.
So like
you're not entitled.
So
you know?
It's kind of like a guy, like a weird situation where a guy and a girl date for a little while, and the girl doesn't want to be around anymore, and the guy acts crazy, right? And so, he feels entitled for that person to love him back, right?
Right.
So. And then he starts acting crazy, and it becomes a dangerous situation potentially. Like if it goes down that rabbit hole. But so in that way, he's trying to force them to feel a certain way.
Right.
So like like people going, oh, you're transphobic if you're not willing to date a transgender.
Right, and that's not the case.
So they're trying. So a person that says that, and there's lots of people that do. Well, when I say lots, I don't mean like the vast majority, but I mean like in that community, there's transgenders that or people that support them that say, well, if you're not willing to be a transgender, you're transphobic.
Right.
Well, that's just not my preference, right? So by you saying that, does that make me transphobic because you're projecting that I should feel a certain way because I don't?
Right.
That's my whole thing.
There's a difference between stating your opinion. Even if you said, I don't want to sit at a table with black people, I'm just not comfortable with it.
It doesn't mean you're racist.
That makes you that doesn't make you a bigot.
No, it doesn't make you a racist. It's just you're not comfortable. And then
but if you say, I don't want to sit at that table, fuck those anners,
right?
That makes
that's different.
A racist, and that is illegal speech.
Right.
But
that
like
makes it racist, but at the same time, though, bro,
I think a lot of people also could categorize. I don't want to sit with black person because they're black. that could also be hate speech.
Right.
That could be interpreted as hate speech.
Right.
And
Because
it comes
you have
down
to-
to what's the judge going to decide it is.
Yeah, it's based on someone else's feelings.
Yeah.
Which is why it's such a fucking gray area.
It is a
and
very
it's
gray area.
weird.
It's-
That's why there needs to be a
But it didn't
hard
used to
line.
be so much of a gray area. Obviously, when you're talking about blacks specifically, it was okay to say whatever you wanted because black people weren't considered humans
At that
at,
point in
at
time.
one
and
point in
that's-
time.
and that's my whole
But
point. Like, where do
if you were blatantly disrespectful towards the president or any government official, immediately you could be thrown in jail.
See,
Immediately.
but see, to me, because that could
That's
be
the
someone,
problem.
Yeah, that's just someone's opinion.
Well, and that's why
And
those
they're
laws
making
have
the
been changed.
choice, and they're making the choice to be like, you don't like the president, you get locked up.
So are you saying that anybody should
be?
be able to say whatever they want, even if it does, even
so
if it's
this
hateful?
This is where I draw the line. Okay, I think people should be able to be.
I'm going to catch up in chat in a minute, guys.
I think people should be basically be able to say whatever they want, right? But so if you're organizing groups of people and using your voice to incite violence and anything to like down a certain type of people, whatever, whether it's race, sex, whatever the topic is, religion. If you're using your voice to incite a detrimental effect directly to a group, like basically like a preacher or
Right.
something of that nature,
Okay.
then that should be categorized as in that hate speech thing. But if you're just posting a thing on Facebook, or you're just talking among friends, or you're on a podcast stating your opinion, and you're not making call to action, I think that's another important thing. Making intent, but also like call to action. So if you're making call to actions, like saying things like, well, all right, people, let's form a group and let's start a group that they'll bring slavery back. So this is what we're going to do, A, B, C, D, whatever. Okay, that would be definitely under what I would consider hate speech
Right.
towards that thing. But if you're saying, my opinion is like, fuck back black people, then that should be protected because if you start going down that route, you just end up in these weird fucking places that don't. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And so just because there's a lot of people out there, it's just like, oh, so you're defending racism. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is when, because it all starts with how you react to something. And when someone is blatantly being racist to try to hurt somebody's feelings, I do think that is wrong. But at the same time, how I react to that is my choice to react to that. If I know if I want it just to roll off my back or whatever, then that's different. If I didn't do anything to warrant somebody lashing out at me besides just walking a room and being the color that I am, their issue with me has nothing to do with me personally. And if they lash out and they're trying to get a reaction,
they're succeeding in their goal.
They're succeeding, for one, they're succeeding in the goal, but they're not entitled. I don't have to react to that.
Yeah.
You feel me? I don't have to even give it a thought.
You choose not to.
Right, because it's not a big deal to me. Because
people,
that person's being ignorant. They have issues, and I know
anybody
I'm not
that
the problem.
does choose to react because their rights are being infringed upon has
That's
that
their
right
choice
as well.
to react to that. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying there are those people. There's a few types of people. There are people that.
Real quick, why is their rights being infringed upon based on speech? Now, I'm not saying we're not getting a job or not, like if they're being discriminated, that's a right issue.
Right. Well, discrimination
or
and racism is different.
Yeah, but like under that line.
Yeah.
But saying anything, how does that affect my rights? If he said
it's the same as shouting obscenities in the library. That's illegal. You can get arrested for it.
That's more disturbing peace, I think.
But it's infringing upon other people's rights.
If it wasn't,
it wouldn't be illegal if it wasn't.
But what right is it infringing upon? Is my question. Like, what is it real other than disturbing peace and other than that? Like, obviously shouting whatever and the thing and disturbing peace, that's against the law. But like the content of what they're saying, why is that Why is that infringing upon anyone's rights?
Because hate speech is illegal.
Okay, but that's what we're questioning here.
Right.
That's not because.
But what makes it illegal?
Yeah, not just because it's illegal.
Right.
Like, what is the mechanism
What makes
behind
it? And trust me, with people that are in the chat room or anybody that listens to this in the future, I'm not condoning people.
He is.
As y'all know,
he hates cracker-ass crackers.
Right. I was raised by white people, man. My thing is this. Me personally, and the only thing I can speak on is me personally, is I love everybody, man. I don't care where you come from. I want to learn where you come from so we don't have so many, like, the differences that we have, I find, are a beautiful thing because it gives me a chance to learn your differences. Like, for instance, Unicorn loves football. His version of football, which we call soccer, they call football, and that's cool. Whatever. I want to learn that. It might not be something that I'm into, but he's from a different place. I want to know the culture, everything. Anybody. I mean, if you're
thanks for the cheer.
Gosh, that's so scary.
Get a better perspective on him. And
the problem is people aren't willing to open up enough to learn. Okay, you're angry. Well, it would be my choice too to be like, well, why are you angry? Let's sit down and talk about it. But it's also somebody's choice to get pissed off and then retaliate because they get defensive. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's better to like stay super calm. I think the outcome is moves us forward to as a
so
society
much better.
And people. If you stay calm, if all you do is react to it and get pissed.
Yeah.
So where does that leave you? It doesn't leave you anywhere.
Leaves you mad, and then the separation becomes even more. And let's say it is somebody who's like, fuck black people, and they're saying that because of a personal experience they've had, but you wouldn't even know that if you get pissed and be like, fuck you then. Well, no, fuck you. Now you're on this level when you could have just been like, man, I don't know why you feel that way, but let's talk about it. What's good? Why do you have this? And so at the end of that conversation, that person might have a better outlook on, okay, well, not all black people. What happened is this. But people can't get to that point because they're too busy getting offended and making the choice to be mad at
it. Wasn't there a black priest, or maybe it wasn't a priest?
I want to catch up on chat real quick before we continue while Shawn's thinking of his thought. Undead Unicorn, a long time ago, said, like I said, I disagree with racism fundamentally, but unless you actively threaten someone, I think you should be allowed to say it. Juicebox Hero said, I would highly doubt that someone was sentenced to prison over a Facebook post, as it cannot be proven in court that it was actually you that posted it, so he or she had to do something else that had some way in court. Yes, it is true. Facebook posts have been used in court against somebody before. Undead Unicorn said it 100% happened, and it's not a one-off case. Probably happens way more commonly in other countries in America. In America, it's probably a lot harder to prove, but it can happen. Just like text, it's not admissible in court. Undead Unicorn said, all of my examples getting flagged by Automod because he keeps using quotations to explain what he's talking about, and it's being considered hate speech by Twitch.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Damn.
So he said, like, another example, this got flagged, is a man who was fined 500 pounds for teaching his dog to sig heil for a joke.
Yeah, you know about that case, right? That was big news.
What happened?
International news.
A man was fined 500 pounds for teaching his dog to sig heil.
And he was thrown in jail too, wasn't he? I'm almost 100% sure he got like a year in prison for it.
See, that to me is silly. Not that.
Yeah, he had because his girlfriend loved the dog, or whatever, a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And he thought it'd be funny to make a YouTube video
of his dog doing that.
Yeah. Heil, which
now I don't think any of us should pass judgment on as far as like what level of trouble he gets in for that.
He shouldn't got any. Like, at least, I mean, UK has some weird laws,
right?
But like,
to me,
the dog is not going. Having a dog going sing heil is not going to make anyone go, I think I'm gonna become a Nazi because
but
the dog.
But at the same time, I think anytime you bring up Zing or whatever that is, anytime you bring that up, anytime you bring that up, I think because of what it represents to people, they automatically get into a zone like, oh, fuck that. So it doesn't matter what it could be, teaching a bird to do it. It could be teaching a lizard.
Especially
it has nothing to do with the actual dog. It has to do with the subject of what the guy's teaching.
The context.
That's what people are mad at. Right. It's not the dog that they don't give a fuck about that. It's why would you teach a dog to do that? That's what they're getting offended over. Yes. And it's like, well, don't.
Because it was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
if
I didn't find it amusing.
Well, some people don't. Some people do.
But
and that's
there's a ton of comedians that could have made that exact joke, and,
right.
And they would have gotten a free pass because they're a comedian,
right?
But because it's a YouTuber,
I don't know if they'd gotten a free pass in today's society.
I think
maybe 25 years ago, Eddie Murphy could have done it. If a black person did it, or somebody of color, or anybody that's not white did it, it would have been taken in a comical sense. But if somebody that might have ties to a KKK group or a racist organization, it definitely would not be funny.
I think
everything's in
but it's
context.
also how it's presented. So I think if Joe Rogan Joe Rogan on his last special made some stuff that people would get super offended over, right?
But it's Joe Rogan; he gets a pass.
That's my point. So if it's
But do they get a pass because he's a star, or do they get a pass because they know he's not a dude full of hate, though?
And that's why. That's my point. If the Grand Dragon Wizard of the KKK taught his dog how to do it,
for sure,
everybody would be offended.
Yeah.
But it would be expected, though, because it's within context.
Yeah.
Racist people
you would expect him to do something like that, but... And that's why I say if Eddie Murphy taught his dog how to do it, we're like a black man teaching his dog how to say Kyle. Obviously,
that's hilarious.
That just means if he followed it up with some context, like my dog bites Mexicans, my dog's racist.
What's his face? Not even that long ago did it. Did this basically the exact same thing. Not Eddie Murphy.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
When he was a blind black dude who was a racist against black people, and he divorced his wife because she found out he was a nigger lover.
That's the exact same thing.
That's hilarious to me.
To me, there's no difference between that sketch and that character that he was creating than this guy making a YouTube video that he clearly explained from the beginning of the video, like, my girlfriend loves the dog, so to fuck with her, I'm going to do this because it's funny. And people are like, oh, it's not. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Like that
I don't see why it would have been blown up, but at the same time, I could see why somebody could be pissed off.
I can see both sides of it as well.
You can be pissed off all you want, but why throw this guy in jail?
That's true. Undead Unicorn said hate speech laws that we should have euthanized the dog. Hate speech laws that aren't direct threats is a very, very slippery slope. Dad said, we had a delegation on buses headed for a plane to Brussels and Afghanistan. Trump canceled their plane, and they are returning to the capital. This just happened a few minutes ago. I just looked it up. The bastard. He says they should not get to travel during the shutdown. Our troops are not taking time off.
Hey, Jeff.
So we had Nancy Pelosi and a bunch of a delegation that was going to fly to Afghanistan, Brussels, and Egypt to visit with troops. But Trump said, no, you can't. Although he was able to go visit troops a few weeks ago and hand out some MAGA hats, which is illegal. It's Mom. And then she says, attitude is always a choice. Gustav said, oh, great. It's your decision to be offended bullshit again. Gustav, have you been here before? We always say it's your decision to be offended. I think that was a stat.
Does he not agree, though?
Taking shots at, I don't know.
No, I mean, I'd like to
Undead
know,
Unicorn,
I'd like to know how
there's a
people
lot
think.
of chat I need to catch up on.
I
Undead Unicorn said, do you disagree, Gustav? Juicebox Hero said, if I'm correct, that if retaliation was taken after the N-word was dropped, both parties would be in trouble for assault. The other may be hate speech or verbal assault, and I'm going to get into that for a second because
and I'm not agreeing. Real quick. Yeah, and I'm not agreeing with with Denver. What I'm saying is, as far as the laws go, we're strictly talking about reaction to an action of something. I don't condone violence at all.
So in Washington,
I like to sit down and talk it out.
In Washington, there's two interesting factors. We have mutual combat law, which allows you, if both parties agree to combat, then that could take place. But then there's also another thing where, especially in domestic, or in some domestic situations, but just in general, the more aggressor tends to go to jail. And I have an example of that. When I was dating Tamra, and her and...
I thought we were using false names
I
for...
don't give a rat's ass.
All right.
Not with her, anyway.
And her sister...
She's a piece of work.
So, Tamra started the physical altercation between her and her sister, but her sister went to jail because she was the more aggressive.
She was the more
aggressive. Even though
of the
Tamra threw the first punch and attacked her first, her sister just kept coming back and back and back. Her sister went to jail, like cops came out.
Yeah.
And they both admitted, like, yeah, I started it, blah blah. And the sister's like, yeah, I just kept coming back. Well, and so she's like, well, I was defending myself, but she kept going. Was the thing. So it's different in every state. So if you're gonna start physical altercations, you should, or if you're gonna be in one, you should probably know the laws.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
Well, I looked up hate speech while you guys were talking about it, and in the United States does not have hate speech laws, since American courts have repeatedly ruled the laws criminalizing hate speech violate the guarantee to freedom of speech contained in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. There are several categories of speech that are not protected by the First Amendment, such as speech that calls for imminent violence upon a person or group.
That's what he was saying. Yeah.
However, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that hate speech is not one of these categories. Court rulings often must be re-examined to ensure the U.S. Constitution is being upheld in the ruling on whether or not the words count as a violation. Proponents of hate speech legislation in the United States have argued that freedom of speech undermines the 14th Amendment by bolstering an oppressive narrative, which means equality and the Reconstructive Amendment's purpose of guaranteeing equal protection under the law.
So let me ask you this real quick, Big.
Yeah.
So if
you want my personal opinion or
Yeah.
scientific fact?
No. So let's say an across the street neighbor came out. Like you were outside. Let's say you were outside smoking or just maybe cleaning your truck or whatever. And he comes out and he goes, I hate white crackers. And he's staring at you and he just says, I hate white crackers.
Okay.
And then your at that point in time, do you feel that he should be arrested for saying that?
No.
Okay. Would you have a different feeling? And this was, let's say your across the way neighbor is a black guy that says that.
Okay.
Should he be arrested for saying that?
No.
Okay. If it's a white guy, should he be arrested for saying it? I don't think so either. Now, however that makes you feel, because you're going to feel a certain way, regardless whether it's anger, irritation, or maybe laughter, because, whatever you're feeling, that's something you can't control. But how you then react to that person is a choice you make, right? You can continue just looking at him laughing and then go back to cleaning your shit, or you can go up to him and really, poke the bear, stir the pot, whatever, and then start a physical altercation, which then gets into bigger things.
Well, you know me, bro.
Oh, I know you.
I'm gonna turn it into
but
something
for the
much
greater
bigger
of
than it
good,
was.
what do you think should be done in a situation like that?
My short answer is no, he shouldn't go to jail, but yes, there should be a penalty.
There should be some sort of penalty for it.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe if I am inclined to call the police, which I wouldn't in a case like that.
Right.
But if, let's say me and Maya walked outside and it was a white guy from across the street and said, why do you have a half-breed kid?
Right.
I'm going to dial 911 and I want to get a cop to get over here and I want a cop to look at that guy and say, look, if this happens again, this is going to be a warning. But if it happens again, you're going to be penalized. There's going to be a ticket. There's going to be a court date
to do that.
I'm wondering under what thing does he get a ticket? Like, I mean, obviously, it would be under some. It wouldn't be under.
It wouldn't be under hate crime. It would be under something
random, weird, obscure thing that has essentially nothing to do with what you're going after.
Right.
So it's
and
like,
he would get a fine and a slap on the wrist, and then it wouldn't stop him from doing it again.
So Gustav said that's paranoia as a result of misinformation. I'm not sure what he was referring to because it was a long time ago and you guys wouldn't let me stop to catch up with chat. Jukebox Hero said, I broke the podcast. Gustav said, unlike most other words, because of its history, the N-word is offensive and hateful by default. It's up to the speaker to introduce a context in which it wouldn't be. Same with the F-word. Gustav then said, it absolutely makes you a racist even without the N-word. What the hell are you on about? Not quite sure what that was referring to. It could have been a lot of things. Jenny said, Undead Unicorn said the point isn't if it makes you racist or not. The point is, should you be punished by law for it? Jenny said they could just be afraid. Probably the white person not wanting to sit at the table with the black folk.
Okay, yeah.
Gustav said the gray area is much smaller than you make it out to be. Of course, it should be punished by law. And I do agree with that. Arrested? Maybe not, but there should be some sort of penalty. Undead Unicorn said unless it's a direct threat. Why, though? Undead Unicorn said, my number one favorite quote is, even though I disagree with what you say, I will defend to the death your right to say it. Voltaire. I stand by that quote as a philosophy. Gustav said, because aggression isn't only expressed via direct violence threats. Laws that rule on that are not hate speech laws. Those are a completely different thing. That's an absolutely intolerable behavior in society. Jenny said, but does that mean they hate black people? Undead Unicorn said, why can't we tolerate the intolerant? Gustav said, that's why we have judges. Read the sentence a few more times till it sinks in, because race is a protected class. Jeff in the box said, how goes it, guys? What up, Jeff? You came in at a really awkward time.
That's why I said, hey, Jeff.
Automod, Juicebox Hero said, I love everyone. So you love me? Haha, fag. That got...
oh, boy. That's a whole nother
That got blocked, but I just approved
Well, I mean, it's
it.
under the same print, like whether you're talking about race.
Gustav said that's so
whatever.
irrelevant to the discussion, and nothing is irrelevant to our discussions. Everything relates in one way, shape, or form. And we can start talking about colors and end up talking about numbers. And then from there, for some reason, we talk about mushrooms. And then from there, we talk about politics. So it's really weird. UK hate speech laws are ridiculous. I could be arrested for things I've said on the internet, said Undead Unicorn. Gustav said it's everyone's duty to act like Socrates when it comes at you with racial slurs. Got it. Socrates.
I just
Socrates.
What does that mean?
Turn the other cheek.
Okay. I agree.
And it also isn't
I think
it
it was being
case by case
sarcastic.
too. I mean everything is subjective to a point, but I think it's also a case by case situation. Now, if a group of guys were walking down the street,
Rage Queen, what up?
and it happened to be whatever race, I don't care, a race other than my own, and then as those guys were walking by me, and let's say they were just like, you know, they said some crazy shit against black people or whatever. It's fucked up, absolutely. But to what point do you draw the line that you do call the cops? Like you were saying, if little Miss Maya was outside with you and someone said some shit, is it at that level you call the cops, or would it be that level that I just spoke of the four guys that makes me feel threatened or whatever? Do I call the cops then because of what they're saying? What Shawn was saying earlier, it's a huge fucking vortex, dude, to go down. And not that it doesn't deserve to be talked about or deserve to be brought to the forefront, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to fix the problem. But at the same time, and again, I can only speak on myself. At the same time, I can only think of, if I didn't do anything to justify you lashing out at me, I'm not going to take what you're saying. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt and keep it moving. You know what I mean? But that's just me, and I know not everybody thinks that way. And
the next day, you're not going to think two shits about it.
Right. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Yeah.
You know?
But a lot of people will. A lot of people are going to dwell over it.
Right. And
You have no right to tell somebody what they should or shouldn't feel, though.
This is true.
I'm talking about like the reaction to it.
Right. But the reaction to it, and if they feel like they want to...
It doesn't make sense to you, but they have every right to hold on and be offended for a year down the road.
Right.
Sure,
and that's where we need to connect more. The people
you can question that all day, but who are you to question him in the first place?
But that's where we need to connect more. That's my point, is I'm able to just let shit roll off my back because it's not that big of a deal. There are other people that can't, and that's fine. That's okay. It's not better either or. It's not what the point is. But for the people that do want to retaliate and they do want to call the cops and they do want to do all this stuff, that's their right, and that's awesome. But if there's going to be animosity between the people who let it roll off their back and the people that don't let it roll off their back, those people need to sit down and say, okay, well, why do you feel that you need to do this? And the people that don't really care and let it roll off their back, they need to be able to be like, well, this is why I don't really care if people say what they want to say, and then find some kind of common ground. But the problem is, I'm not trying to convince you to think like me, and you're not trying to convince me to think like you. It's just a common ground thing. But then where does the law come in? You know what I mean?
Right.
On what side is the law? That's what's difficult.
I absolutely get it.
And what Shawn was saying, it's a huge vortex to go down and talk about. You know?
But if you're letting like your whole life be ruled by this losing sleep, like basically you're letting every person Like, where would you be if every time somebody said some racist remark, or treated you a certain way, and you just kept that thing? Like, where would you be with like, how many friends would you that would affect your daily your life?
Right.
To a point where it's not benefiting you in any way.
If anything, you're moving backwards.
That's easy for somebody to say, but there's so many things that people dwell on in life that doesn't benefit them in any way.
A lot of shit. I get pulled over constantly, and I'm not one to throw that race card out there.
You deserve it, bro. You're a shitty driver.
But no, I'm not a shitty driver.
You are a shitty driver, bro.
I'm really not.
You can't even update the fucking tags on your car, bro.
No, I can. But the city is that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother fucking story. The city just wants money. Anyway.
Hold on. Wait, before you get on to your tangent, can we have to keep caught up because we're going to end up getting comments in here that pertain to something, and then we're going to be so far
Domestic violence is a little bit different.
Juicebox Zero said, kind of a funny fact, in Germany, if you escape from jail, prison, etc., you will not receive any extra time, as in Germany, they have laws that say people have a right to be free from institutions. Gustav said, I don't have the links, but you're welcome to look into it. It's the Supreme Court in Scotland that has the stricter rules, not the whole of the UK. Undead Unicorn lives in Britain, so I think he knows what the laws are. But the same laws carry over in England. Gustav said, as I said, you're welcome to look into it. Old Mom said that was back to Mom. I'm not quite sure what that was in reference to.
Rage Queen.
Rage Queen. Hey, what up, Rage Queen? Appreciate you being here. Jeff in the box said, hey, D, said what's up, the true MVP. Then Cacti also, can't forget the Cacti. Undead Unicorn said, I've been verbally attacked because of my race, but I didn't even think about calling the police on them. Gustav said, a lot of domestic abuse victims probably feel the same way too. Not quite sure, that's very pertinent, but not quite sure what that was in reference to. Skep Talk Live said, greetings all, what up, Skep? Rage Queen. You know, I don't understand everything. I think Rage Queen's in Germany, I believe. Juicebox Heroes, the D. I really admire your determiner in this.
Thank you.
Probably demeanor, but
I appreciate it. I mean, everyone deserves to be heard, regardless whether what they're saying you like or not. Because I'm all about communication and common ground. Because at the end of our conversation, we might not see eye to eye, but let's go get something to eat afterwards and fuck it. You know, you're gonna think how you think. I'm gonna think how I think. You know, but that doesn't mean I'm going to not kick it with you or something like that if you have certain opinions on things. Now, if your character...
Bro, you stopped kicking it with me over opinions on people that I like and don't like years ago.
When? No, I just stopped kicking it with you when you're around them. That's all. That's all that is. Wait
a minute, who? I was being sarcastic.
No, I'm saying in a situation like that, that's what would happen. I wouldn't be mad at you. I would just stop kicking it with you when you're around those people.
No, it sounds like you're talking about somebody specific.
No. See, now this is what you do. You like to stir that pot and poke that bear. It don't work with me. But what I'm saying is everyone deserves to be heard, even if someone says something totally slanderous or totally off the cuff that's totally, it's like, yo, why did you even say that? I want to know.
Thanks for the cheer.
That scares me every time. I'd like to know why you're angry at that. I'm not one to want to blow up because how's that saying go? Violence just begets more violence.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing in arguments, right? Yeah. If you're not willing to think past what somebody said and get to the root of why they said it, there's a difference. And that's just the type of dude I am, you know what I mean? Because I don't like conflict with anybody.
Unfortunately, so many people are so shallow thinkers.
They are. And
they like to hang out. They refuse to go to deep waters. They just hang out in the kiddie pool because it's okay and somewhat safe here. This is my area. If I
can touch the bottom, everything's
there
safe.
There might be sharks over there. I'm going to stay away from that because I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the way they think. They're shallow thinkers. And don't want to think past.
Rage Queen's in Germany.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. We got England. We got Germany. That's what's up, man.
We can't even get our own social circle of friends to come in and watch this stuff, but
that's all right, man. I don't mind friends overseas, man.
I don't either.
And I wish all y'all well, regardless of all y'all's opinions. I respect them, and I'd love to hear them, and you know, because it brings everybody closer together, man. And as separated as our world is right now, fuck, dude, we need some togetherness, you know, regardless, you know.
So, Juicebox, you are definitely in the circle of friends. Knock that shit off. You know what? I'm going to take care of that right now, bro. Juicebox,
So a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Juicebox is one of the very first people that actually watched us when we were.
Oh, that's the other day
when we made our transition to Twitch.
Yeah, when he came in the room.
Yeah.
When he came in the room the other day, I was like, Juicebox Hero.
Yeah. There you go, Juice. Go ahead and type something now.
Let's see. Try.
Bam.
So, Skep Talk Live. Trying to understand the why of someone's opinion is way more important than the what. It will often reveal if the argument is even worth it. That's my point exactly.
That is absolutely
That
true.
is my point exactly. It's not what they said. It's the reason behind what they said is really where you're is really where you want to get to. Because then does it come off of you have personal experiences? Is that why you don't like all black people? Because you've had one instance with maybe a couple, so you categorize it? But you'll never get to that point if you're just willing to flash on what they're saying versus why they're saying it. Perfect. See? Understood what I was talking about. I love it.
Excuse me. Juicebox Hero say Juicebox Hero with straws in my eyes. Yes, sir.
We got in a huge conversation about straws yesterday.
We did have a conversation
Or was
about
it the day before? Shit, all the days are running together now.
No, it was the day before because Shawn was here. He wasn't here yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We're not going to have a whole bunch of clippable material for this episode, so I'm going to come up with some articles real quick just so we have a few.
NXIVM?
Yeah, actually, let's do that. NXIVM, what we know about alleged sex trafficking and forced labor. We've got a few articles on NXIVM that we're going to dive into.
Yeah.
In case you haven't heard.
I don't even know what NXIVM is, man.
We're about to dive into it.
Yeah, we're going to get into it.
It's going to be a major story over the next few months.
It's been a big story, but it's about to be huge. Like, it's a cult. I mean, yes, even Skep said, "Oh man, NXIVM is some crazy shit."
So is NXIVM, or however you pronounce it, it's an entity, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's an entity of like a group of people.
Think,
okay.
Kind of like Illuminati meets Scientology. It's weird. Real quick, Gustav said, except the what is often a signifier in idiocy. Someone mentally capable of generalizing an entire race due to personal experiences with a few people is not someone worth talking to. And that's exactly, if you can understand the why, the what becomes irrelevant sometimes. Because if their opinion is I hate black people because of their stance, then we don't even care about anything else. We just don't need to talk to them. Undead said, I haven't heard of NXIVM. That surprises me because I'm sure there's people in Britain and England that are part of this cult. So this article came out in Rolling Stones back in March. And it reads, NXIVM, what we know about alleged sex trafficking and forced labor. A new federal criminal complaint alleges that women were forced to be slaves to Keith Rainier, the controversial self-help group's co-founder. So it started as a self-help group, supposedly. It was like this pyramid Ponzi scheme. It's weird, dude. It's really weird. And there's YouTube, or Netflix has had some tutorials, or some, what's the word? Documentaries about it. I've been watching so many fucking tutorials on YouTube that my brain is
it's all tutorials,
right now.
Tutorials, yeah.
It says on Monday, Mexican authorities closed in on Keith Rainier, a co-founder of the controversial cult-like self-help group NXIVM. The Albany, New York-based NXIVM is, according to its website, a community guided by humanitarian principles that seek to empower people and answer important questions about what it means to be human. Charged with sex trafficking and forced labor conspiracy, Rainier, 57, known as Vanguard to his followers, was arrested at a $10,000 a week luxury villa near Puerto Vallarta and extradited to Texas for arraignment.
Yeah,
Quick question.
They forced him. He forced all his followers to call him Vanguard.
Yeah.
Which was an awesome Atari game back in the day. Vanguard on the 2600.
Got it from that.
So okay, quick question. So this turned from a group of about self-help, self-awareness to sex trafficking.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Because I'm trying to
like-
see, I'm
yeah.
trying to see the
Group?
bridge. I'm trying to
There's
see.
like-
Steph just commented, Nexium,
inside
pronounced
groups.
Nexium, is basically a giant sex cult hidden behind a self-help group. It has big names involved in it. Women are allegedly held down, branded, sold, traded, and groomed to be sex servants, all from one creepy dude.
It has
Actually,
big names.
There's
What are
numerous
some of
creepy dudes that are part of this.
What are some
circle.
of the names? Any like?
So
Tom
to continue
Cruise?
this article, Rainier. No, Tom Cruise isn't part of this.
No,
one. Rainier did.
Allison Mack
playing.
is.
We'll get into
Okay.
that. Rainier did not seek bail during an initial court appearance on Tuesday in Fort Worth and will be transported to Brooklyn this week for preliminary hearings. On Tuesday, FBI agents raided the home of Nexium President Nancy Salzman, who is known as Prefect to the followers,
Oh my gosh.
as well as another home in upstate New York, which former Nexium publicist Frank Perlato believes was that of disgraced Nexium-linked Dr. Brandon Porter. Considered a cult by some experts, Nexium was thrown into the national spotlight last fall when the New York Times interviewed several women claiming to have been forcibly branded as part of their entry to the secret Nexium, entry to a secret Nexium sect called Duce. After the story broke, U.S. Attorney's Office in Brooklyn reportedly launched an investigation into Nexium, and Rainier fled to Mexico with some female followers. That reportedly included Smallville actress Allison Mack, who was photographed at the scene of his arrest in Mexico. If convicted, Rainier faces 15 years to life. Here's what we learned from the newly released criminal complaint against Rainier, filed by FBI agent Michael Lever and unsealed in a Brooklyn court on Monday. Since founding Nexium's umbrella organization, ESP, Executive Success Programs, Rainier had allegedly maintained a rotating cast of 15 to 20 women he's had active sexual relationships with. According to the complaint, the women must remain sexually faithful to Rainier and are not permitted to discuss their relationships with him.
Or else what?
Well, there's crazy contracts, like
Yeah.
there's crazy ass contracts.
This
in
sounds. This just sounds like Hollywood.
Well,
It sounds like
just
L.A.
pay attention. It gets deeper. The document also states that Nexium's course teachings advocate that men must have multiple sexual partners while women must be monogamous, and that Duce strives to help women overcome their inherent weaknesses and over-emotional natures.
So while I'm trying to heal you mentally,
It's
guess
like
what we're gonna
Mormonism.
do? We're gonna fuck you up more, and we're gonna reprogram you to say, I can fuck anybody I want.
Yes.
But you have to be loyal to me.
Yes. Duce,
Then the higher up, like, so there's like other higher up dudes in it,
Yeah.
and they get like bonus points in their like thing.
that's what I'm
Oh,
getting
okay.
into now.
Oh my gosh, it's like
So Duce's master slave participants allegedly thought they were joining a women-only sorority, and Rainier's position at the top of the group was withheld. Per the complaint, Nexium's secret society Duce is a pyramid-style organized criminal group with levels of slaves headed by masters. The document alleged that Rainier is the singular ruling master and sole male member of Duce, also reportedly known as the Vow. The society is rumored to have formed around 2015. Duce allegedly stands for Dominus Obsequious Sororium, which loosely translates to Lord Master and the Obedient Female Companions.
that sounds like a cult, man.
The document claims that Duce's
does.
slaves had to recruit more slaves in order to become masters themselves, and the Nexium women, who were going through some kind of personal strife, were the primary targets of Duce recruiting efforts. When luring a new Duce member, the complaint says the masters required collateral in the form of incriminating photos, videos, or damning confessions about a recruit or her family. This material was allegedly used to blackmail members into staying put, as well as to dissuade them from speaking up about what they were exposed to within the group.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So I do have to say, Undead, I really like your sayings when you get excited about something. This is my question. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding this, because yes, it sounds like a pyramid scheme in the way of, let's say, hypothetical, B, you were like the hierarchy leader of this place. And in order to move up the ranks as a man in this group, not only does it depend on how many women you have on your team as far as how many you sleep with, but if you can get other dudes below you to sign up and then get girls too, and then that guy gets people below him to get girls too, it's like that?
It's a pyramid scheme, yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's crazy, dude. And they're doing it with humans instead of like soap.
Skeb said some of the names are female. Some of the female celebrities involved: Allison Mack, Grace Park, Nikki Klein, Kristen Kruk, and Sarah Edmondson. Canadian booze heiresses Clara and Sarah Bronfman.
So the girls can't be leaders in this group, or can they?
According to this article,
because
all the
girls can be
details
their
not out
leaders,
there yet.
but if they have to be faithful, that means they can't.
The document
get a
claims
bunch
that
of men.
Duce's slaves had to recruit more slaves in order to become masters themselves.
Be the master slave person.
Yeah, master bitch.
So it's like a pimp who has his hoes, but
Who
that
has-
one hoe that's
the
like
hoes,
above
the hoes
all
have
the
a
other
hierarchy.
hoes,
Yeah, the
who
madam.
goes and gets the other hoes, the madam.
Right.
Jeez, dude.
This material was allegedly used to blackmail members into staying put, blah, blah, blah. The complaints alleges that DOS members had to provide new collateral once a month, and according to a statement from U.S. Attorney Richard P. Donahue, members were also threatened with having their assets stolen. The complaint also states that many DOS slaves were allegedly forced to participate in a torture ritual in which they were held down naked by other members and branded with Rainier's initials using a cottering device.
Wow.
The complaint says these encounters were filmed. DOS members were allegedly formed to provide acts of care for masters and have sex with Rainier. The complaint states that DOS slaves were forced to serve their masters in various acts of care, including running errands for them, cleaning their homes, and preparing food for them. They were also reportedly forced to perform uncomfortable acts of self-denial, such as taking icy showers or standing for an hour at 4 a.m. The document said that slaves were given assignments to perform as part of their tenure, and these assignments could include sex with Rainier. Some slaves were also allegedly tasked with following brutally low-calorie starvation diets to remain extremely thin. A physical reference of Rainier's. The women tasked with having sex with Rainier reportedly believed they risked the release of their collateral if they refused. According to Rainier's detention memo filed by the U.S. Attorney Donahue, the government estimates that the defendant has had more than 50 DOS slaves under him. In the criminal complaint, one defector known as Jane Doe No. 1 claimed Rainier offered her a job and gave her money after she slept with him, but said he asked for the money back after she left the group. Keith Rainier allegedly did not act alone. Rainier's co-conspirators, dubbed CC1 and CC2 in the complaint, reportedly played active roles in the alleged sex trafficking happening within the group. Now, there is rumor going around that Richard Branson is one of these CCs.
Richard Branson, he just needs more excitement in his life.
Yeah, a direct slave of Rainier's is described as an actress with longtime relationship with Rainier. Her video interviews with Rainier are mentioned. And Frank Parlato, NXIVM's ex-publicist and whistleblower, has stated that Smallville actress Allison Mack, 35, is CC1, and he believes that she will likely be arrested shortly.
Jesus.
The complaint also describes agent obtaining a search warrant for Rainier's Yahoo email address. Within those emails, agents reportedly uncovered an email from CC1 pledging her full and complete life to Rainier in a letter she called a vow. They found other emails serving as collateral for CC1, including a letter meant to destroy the character of her mother and father as a note addressed to social services alleging abuse to CC1's nephews.
No, I don't think Richard Branson's been confirmed yet and dead.
No, it hasn't been confirmed.
Wow.
It's just a rumor.
Well, Allison's been arrested.
Yeah. In addition to being forced into sexual encounters with Rainier in various locations and circumstances, the complaint describes that at least one of the Jane Doe 1's other assignments was to edit up to 95 dense articles written by Rainier. The complaint states that CC2 is CC1's direct slave and co-founder of a side of NXIVM group called the Delegates. In the complaint, an actress and model known as Jane Doe 2 recalls being recruited into DOS by CC2 while on a walk in Clifton Park, New York during a NXIVM seminar. Jane Doe 2 defected in 2016 after CC1 tried to push her into the special assignment of seducing Rainier and then documenting proof of the encounter afterward. But before she left for good, Jane Doe 2 reportedly captured images of collateral of other members in the hopes of preventing her own collateral from being leaked.
Wow.
Rainier may be getting rich off of NXIVM. According to the complaint, classes offered by NXIVM and other linked groups can cost up to $5,000 for a 5-day workshop. The document alleges that NXIVM is run like a multi-level marketing scheme with members encouraged to keep attending classes and to recruit others into the group to hit various goal levels. The memo also notes that participants' goal levels are indicated via the color of sash they wear. So it's like karate. With some members eligible to earn
Right.
with some members eligible to earn either salaries or sales commissions. The complaint alleges that many members descend into debt from the cost of the courses. Oh, and the group members also were reportedly expected to pay $2,000 or more to celebrate Rainier's birthday during a week-long celebration known as Vanguard Week. His birthday is August 26, 1960. Rainier allegedly gets financial helps from high places. According to U.S. Attorney's detention memo, Claire W. Bronfman, heir to the Seagram's fortune, that must be what Skep was talking about, and NXIVM's self-described operations director, financially supports Rainier. Bronfman has previously denied all accusations of coercion and abuse. In the memo, prosecutors wrote, Bronfman has financed the defendant repeatedly over the years, including providing him with millions of dollars and paying for private air travel costing up to approximately $65,000 a flight. She has also paid for numerous lawyers to bring suits against NXIVM critics. Bronfman also owns a private island in Fiji, which the defendant has visited, and both Bronfman and the defendant have contacts all around the world. This article came out in March.
What does that have to do with that picture, though? Is that their branding?
That's the branding, bro.
That's their branding, huh?
Yeah.
Which I think is the initials.
Looks like a birthmark.
Yeah.
Initials of the main guy.
Yeah. That's what it said.
What?
Yep.
That's something like Assassin's Creed shit.
I mean, sign me up. I want to be branded.
Do you?
No.
I mean,
man,
With
and
my
people
own
just.
initials, I'm gonna brand myself.
Could you
with
imagine
my
when
own
before
self.
this all started, that Vanguard dude just sat there and was like, let me create this and see how far this can go. And he has an island in Fiji, he said?
yeah. Oh no, the woman that inherited the sisters that inherited the Seagram's brand line,
Yeah.
they're Canadian, has an island in Fiji that he goes to on a regular basis, and he has paid. She's been
Like
funding
Seagram
him.
7, like that, the Seagram's gin or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Seagram's, you no longer get my business.
Um.
Not that you got it in the first place.
Undead Unicorn. Oh my giddy aunt. These guys are mental.
Super.
Richard Frickin' Barrington, is that concerned? He has a really inspiring success story, so that would be disappointing if he is involved. When I heard he was involved, it was disappointing to me. Mom or dad said, oh, it's dad. Lifestyles of the sick and rich, and just saying.
Pops. There's rich people in Hollywood and really all over the world that have these parties where they wear these fucking goat masks and there's no
Here's
I
a article.
love my goat mask, man.
News article that just came out.
they have
hours ago.
sacrifices. It's crazy.
Picture of Allison Mack and Keith Rainier. Showed here.
We live in a crazy world.
And this was
dude.
this just came out in the New York Post 8 hours ago. The members of upstate sex cult NXIVM will have another month to prepare for trial, the judge has ruled. Opening statements will now kick off on April 29th instead of March 18th after multiple cult members, including heiress Claire Bronfman, have claimed they don't want to stand trial next to accused sex traffickers Keith Rainier and Allison Mack. Bronfman, Lauren Salzman, and her mother Nancy Salzman and Kathy Russell are variously charged with forced labor conspiracy, wire fraud conspiracy, and racketeering, but not sex trafficking. Mack allegedly headed a secret master slave group within NXIVM called Duce.
Thanks for the cheer.
Hey, good looking, Josh. Mack allegedly headed a secret master slave group within NXIVM called Duce, in which women were branded with her and Rainier's initials and forced to submit entirely to their assigned masters. At least one of the slaves had sex with Rainier, prosecutors charge. While Brooklyn federal court judge Nicholas Garofis had yes to rule on the motions for separate trials, he agreed to give the parties more time to prepare, following defense gripes about the amount of evidence dumped on them by prosecutors. So the prosecutors must have mountains and mountains of evidence.
That's insane, dude. It's a weird, isn't it? It's a weird fucking time we live in. Real weird world. And a lot of these meetings between the rich and famous people have been going on forever, dude. They meet in these secret locations. They have these like circle jerk parties or whatever. Obviously, that's a loose term.
So, my grandfather, when he was
Founded
younger-
NXIVM?
No. He used to be a butler for he used to be the CEO of Bank of America.
Excuse me.
and he used to have to go on these trips because like he was butler, right?
Right.
So my dad actually grew up in the the CEO's house down in Marin, California, and they used to go to what's the name? Bohemian Club? Is that right? No,
I don't know.
Oh man, there's a big club like, and I can't. There's a bunch of them. Like there's the Freemasons, but then there's another one that's like kind of offshoot of that.
Yeah.
Like, that basically the 1% of the 1% go to, and they have like yearly meetings.
Yeah, and they're
show
weird,
up,
dude.
yeah, and like, so like when they go there, like the butlers aren't allowed to go to, the actual meeting themselves.
Right.
They like go out in the woods and shit, and like you said, put on masks and everything.
Yeah, and they jump up and down and prance around.
I
And
find the name of it.
there's certain parties. There's this one party, I can't remember the name of it, but the rich of the richest go to, because they're bored in real life and it's exciting. They need excitement, but you're not allowed to bring in. Everyone's naked for one. Everyone's wearing a mask, and they usually bring in like somebody they deem not very important, like a prostitute or something like that, and they'll have like sacrificial ceremonies, but no one can tell on anybody because they're wearing a mask. You're butt naked, and you're there with them. You have to be witness to this, which makes you
What up, Josh?
It's crazy. Bohemian Grove. It's nuts what these rich people do when they're bored.
Diving in, Sir Richard Branson endorsed Rainier, now denies knowing him. The terrifying sex slaver Nexium cult held seminars on Sir Richard Branson's Necker Island in hope of recruiting him into the organization. Sir Richard says he does not remember them. Part of the reason they staged Nexium seminars on Necker was Nexium hoped to recruit Branson into the organization. Branson would have been the biggest score they ever had, a billionaire businessman. Several group members, including co-founder Nancy Salzman, Allison Mack, Kristen Krug, Emiliano Salinas, and others went to Necker for 2 seminars in 2007 and 2010. They partied hard with Branson, too. Nexium leader Keith Rainier, now being held without bail in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center on charges of sex trafficking and forced labor, did not attend either Necker Island trip.
So Undead, basically he's saying, because you just got back, Richard Branson he ain't got nothing to do with it. He denies it.
He's denying. He's denying that he even remembers this party.
Yeah.
If it was a big orgy, I'd have a hard time believing he. Although,
I mean, orgy's one thing, but being part of a cult that recruits you to.
Within Virgin Records, the orgies probably on his island probably are a regular thing.
Yeah, they're
probably like the Playboy
thing.
Mansion over there.
That's how they live their life. But there's a difference between having good old fun, if you call orgies fun, and then turning that into a cult, though, and then a sex slave ring or whatever. And who's to say that if you get to a certain level that
so Allison Mack was indicted.
Make your own thing, huh?
Allison Mack was indicted.
Oh.
So she could be facing a minimum 15 years in federal prison if convicted too.
Might be.
This article continues to say Branson was never a member of the cult, but he did endorse one of Rainier's events in 2009, permitting his name and a quotation attributed to him to be used in connection with Rainier and his foundation, the World Ethic Foundations Consortium.
I want to show you something real quick, Biggz. I'm going to send you a link.
Josh might be right. I think it is actually the Bohemian Grove.
Josh said, no one forgets an orgy, trust me. It depends on how many you've had.
Let's see.
Looking at this, looks like it was Bohemian Grove. So, like, my grandfather would describe, like, I talked to him about this once, and he would describe just a crazy level of, like, stupid rich people that would show up to these things.
So, I didn't know that the Seagram's heiress was arrested as well. A lot of people arrested over this Nexium thing.
Arrest them all.
It's going down. It's going down.
I forget all my orgies. What are you talking about, Josh?
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all.
Secret societies is what I'm talking about. Yeah, with the billionaires and all that.
Our service members in Afghanistan, as well as our visit to NATO to reassure our NATO allies. We believe this is...
Sorry, that was a news clip on Trump canceling the...
Damn it, the clip is too long.
Pelosi trip. The delegates trip to go visit our troops in Afghanistan and Egypt. But then he told them that they could take a commercial flight if they want to. Although how many of his delegates or his cabinet were taking government flights to their personal meetings since he started campaigning? A lot. Dad said, I don't trust Branson. I can understand that. Shawn, was that connected to the Bilderberg group?
No, I think it was the Bohemian or the
Bohemian Grove.
I'm also trying to Google Bank of America's secret society and see if anything comes up.
Bank of America was tied to it?
Well, the CEO was... So my grandfather was the butler for the CEO of Bank of America many years ago. So I'm just trying to figure out. Let's see, what year we got that? Like year range, that'd be probably Bank of America.
Shit, I can't find it, man, but there's a fucking good thing on secret societies and the parties they have and the reason why they have the parties, and like it's a trip when you really look into it and dive into it. And what it comes down to is boredom for billionaires.
Yeah,
when you own the world, when you can do absolutely anything you want, that's boring now. And so the excitement thing is let's do things that are dangerous that they can cover up and they can pay for if they get in trouble. It's messed up, dude. It's totally messed up. The life of a multi-billion, and it might not be, this might just be a few out of however many billionaires are in the world. Not every billionaire is a creep, but the 1% of the 1%, bro, you start getting so out of touch with real life that it gets boring.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the guy's name. I don't remember it.
Any delegate trip to go visit troops overseas should be confidential. Putting it out there in public detail like that is disgusting.
Oh, when the president goes to visit like a base in wherever?
Well, Pelosi was supposed to go with a delegation today.
To go where?
To Afghanistan, Egypt, and Belgium.
For what?
Just to visit soldiers.
Oh, just to say what's up.
It's been a planned trip.
Oh, okay.
So as they were going out to get into the plane, Trump canceled it.
Why?
And said you're not allowed to go because of the government shutdown.
Oh.
Basically, he keeps calling the shutdown their fault, the Democrats' fault, because they won't approve the wall budget.
Pelosi was going over there to drop off some coke or what?
Pelosi was just going over there to hang out with the troops, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I'm just fucking with you.
So Trump said, no, you can't take it because the government shut down. You're not taking a government plane, but you can take a private plane if you want. And then he went public about the trip.
Well, I mean, if it's not top secret, if she's just going to say what's up.
Any trip to any foreign country by any delegation needs to be confidential, at least until they get there. Like Trump went and visited troops.
Is that because maybe being afraid of maybe people meeting you there and fucking you up
Absolutely.
when you get there? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, I get
it's
that.
for security purposes.
I get that.
You said the disconnect when the 1% of the 1% gets to that level. And
yeah.
Dad said, yeah, D, that's why I've had issues with the 1% and corporations.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
That's one of the reasons why I think like Walmart doesn't need billions of dollars of profit every year, because they're just going to spend it on shit that they don't need.
Right, but I think Walmart's to a point now where they can't help but make money, even if
Right, but you can take half of your profit margin and put it back into the communities. What would that do for
This is true.
What would
but
that do for?
I think they only put enough back into the community, or they make the nonprofit organizations that just benefit themselves at the end of the day.
Right. Which
yeah.
should be illegal.
It should be, because all you're doing is you basically
Generating
another
more
line,
income for you.
You're creating another line of income.
Right.
That's all you're doing.
Isn't that what we all try to do?
Yeah, but at that level, though,
Bro, if you get to a point where you're grossing $13 billion a year and you're not putting a fair share back into the communities that's helping you get rich, I'm going to tell you to fuck off too. Guaranteed.
But putting back into your community is going to help you.
Theoretically, it should.
but there are companies that don't give a shit. They just want to make hand over fist and keep doing it and keep doing it, you know. Because I think
the
once
CEO
you get to
that made $20 million last year, but then laid off 1,500 people right before Christmas.
This is my
1,500 or
my
15,000.
thought on it is it's hard to say because we're not in that position and we're on the outside looking in. And who's to say that they're not putting it into some kind of something? But I feel personally that they're only going to put money into something that they're going to get a return in.
Well, that's business.
And I understand that's business, and I understand Biggz's point, and I understand where you stand as well. Because if you had it your way, you'd have 5,000 ice cream trucks delivering all over the world to places where you want to build the ice cream factories and shit like that, and you should. And you're a hard enough worker to where one day that might happen. And then when you become a multi-billionaire and you don't give back to the community that helped you get that, that's where people have an issue. And people are like, well, fuck rainy day ice cream. I'm not buying ice cream from them no more or whatever. But you get to a certain point to where, okay, you're like, okay, well, a small majority will stop buying rainy day ice cream. But I know the mass ain't going to change because that's just a little percentage. You know, so when it gets to Walmart standards, where you're making billions and billions, there are people over there. There are people that are like, man, you really need to give at least some of that back or whatever. And Walmart's saying, we earned it. Why do you get to decide what we do with our money? You know what I mean? And I'm devil's advocate. I can see both sides. It comes
down to like then people will be like, well, you should give a raise to your employees.
Right? Undead, thanks for hanging out, man.
Like,
appreciate you.
If you give a
later, boss,
blanket raise across like.
Or profit sharing somehow.
Yeah, but if you give like a blanket raise to everybody, it's not like you're just donating $5 or you know what I mean? Like you're not. It's pennies make millions or billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like loss, or I mean, it's really just. I look at so much of that as just straight percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Trump's retaliating because he was supposed to do a State of the Union address, and Nancy Pelosi said, no, you can't, because you can't stand on the floor of the House.
Why?
Because the government shut down.
Oh, so then in turn, he's like, well, I'm not going to let you fly over there then.
Yeah.
That's like a big-ass kid, man.
He is a big baby, dude. Everything he's been doing.
If I can't play, you can't play. I'm taking my ball and going home.
I will give him credit for one thing and one thing only. Let me find it.
Wow.
Maybe I can find it. I thought I shared it. He did sign a bill that is going to retroactively pay all of the government employees that are dealing with the shutdown. Is
it illegal for somebody? Let's say somebody won the Powerball, and let's say the Powerball was almost was $1 billion, like it was maybe a few months ago, right?
Okay.
Would it be illegal, like if I won Powerball, to where money wasn't an issue anymore? Me personally, what I would like to do is go back to like the city of Vancouver, where I grew up or whatever. Go to people's homes that I know are struggling, and would it be illegal to be like, here's $300,000. Go to the next house. Hey, here's a check, $300,000. Go to the next house.
It's not illegal.
Would that be illegal? Because when organizations are built that give back to the community, I automatically am read all the time. And it might be a pessimistic way to think, but business to me is dirty in a lot of ways. So when someone's like, oh, we're giving back to the community through this charity, I'm like, nah. Me giving back to the community is like driving down the street and being like,
Willie, it's $5 million.
That school is jacked up, man. I want to pay for a brand new basketball court, stands for the kids and all that. I want to do that with my own money. I don't see organizations doing that. I see organizations going out there and building the new stuff, but yet their logo is everywhere, that they did it and all that. You know what I mean? That to me is not giving back to the community. Yes, they're getting new shit to play with, but you're just doing it to say, it's like the people, like if I had a house party and the people that walk around the party saying, hey, you having a good time? They're not really giving a shit if you're having a good time. The reason why they're asking is because if you're having a good time, that reflects on them saying they're a good host. You understand what I'm saying?
How much money can you give tax-free? The answer depends on how much you have and how well you use the gift tax laws to your advantage.
Isn't it anything over $5? There's a gift tax.
Americans can give away millions of dollars tax-free during their lifetimes, but the rules are a bit complicated. To understand how much you can give, you need to know the annual gift tax exclusion.
Gift tax is so.
And how estate taxes work. If you have a high net worth, you can potentially use these rules to save your heirs millions of dollars. The first part of the answer involves the annual gift tax exclusion, which is currently $14,000 per year per person. This applies to monetary gifts as well as fair market value of gifted property. You can give up to the amount to as many people as you'd like every year, and the federal government won't tax 1 cent. For example, if you have 5 children and 15 grandchildren, you can give them each $14,000 per year. That's $280,000 in tax-free gifts every year. So essentially, if you want to be like Robin Hood and go just hand out free money to everybody.
Okay.
$14,000 per person.
And to me, can I just
per year?
I think that's fucking retarded, and let me tell you why.
I don't disagree.
No, let me tell you why. Because let's say if I'm a multi-millionaire, almost a billionaire, and I choose to give Shawn $2 million or $3 million, that I've already paid taxes on that money.
No, I have to pay taxes on it again.
And I give it to him. Now he has to pay taxes on that $3 million, which is retarded to me. Excuse me for anybody who gets offended by the word retarded.
They'll be like,
I don't mean it like that.
$1 million in taxes.
Yeah. So it's almost like to make really $1 million, you have to almost make $2.5 million to make $1 million.
There is a lifetime exclusion. For the 2017 tax year, the IRS allows a lifetime estate tax exclusion of $5.49 million. This includes any money and property that you leave to your heirs, as well as any taxable gifts you give while you're alive. As a basic example, if you give your grandchild a $100,000 gift in 2017, say towards the purchase of her first home, and $86,000, that is more than the annual exclusion amount, which will reduce your lifetime exclusion.
There's so many stipulations, dude.
Yeah, it's goofy.
It's stupid. If I'm paying taxes on the money that I have already and I gift it to somebody, they shouldn't have to pay taxes on money that's already had the taxes paid for. That's so dumb.
Welcome to
estate
why
tax
business is fucking hard to do.
The biggest thing that bothers me is estate tax. The amount that you're taxed, like if you die and you have a bunch of assets and you put in your will, you want your kids to get all your assets, why does this estate get 40% off the top?
Because that's Big Brother, bro.
40% is a huge amount. Because
Big Brother, just like the podcast we watch or I watch all the time, it's like Big Brother is like, oh, you got a gift? I didn't get a gift. I'm gonna take some of your gift. That's how it is, man. The house, you'll never beat the house, bro. And I think that is so wrong. If I have $10 million that I have to pay taxes on that, people pay your taxes.
Now, Trump.
But if I gift half of that to Shawn, I now have $5 million that I'm paying taxes on. But I gifted $5 million that I've already paid taxes on, gave it to Shawn. That $5 million now gets whittled down to like 2.8 or something like that. That's wrong.
Wrong. What you can do is ask Shawn what he plans on doing with that money, and if there's a certain amount he wants to invest, you invest as a silent partner and make him the CEO of without you having any rules behind it.
And that's a great
there's ways around it.
But it shouldn't even be that way.
I
should be able to give Shawn what I want, or give you guys what I want without you having to pay taxes on it if I've already paid taxes on what I'm giving you.
Well, that's I mean, if you want to whittle it down, you get an income. You get your income check from somebody. Anybody gets their paycheck from somebody. If they donate any of it, their paycheck was already taxed on. Whoever they donated to has to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you spend that money anywhere, you get taxed on it.
That's like me giving you $1.
So no matter what, $1 ends up being worth 40 cents.
That's what I'm saying. If I give you $1, as soon as I give it to you and you put it in your pocket, there's a knock on the door.
Double and triple taxation.
There's a knock on the door. And it's like the Men in Black, and they're like,
It does happen to the rich assholes, but the rich assholes are trying to propose getting rid of the estate tax with a Republican-controlled Congress. It could happen.
That's crazy.
However, smart estate planners don't gamble on favorable legal changes that might happen. Therefore, if you want to be sure your estate tax is as low as possible, it's important to take advantage of the current gift tax exclusion rules.
Oh, trust me.
It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, if I gave him $1, he puts it in his pocket. He gets a knock on the door 5 seconds later, and this guy's in suit saying, "Hey, we know you just got $1. You're gonna have to give us 60 cents,
40 cents,
or whatever."
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Well, because we didn't.
The estate tax does not only apply to the really, really wealthy. The estate tax
just
applies to
fucking
everybody.
Stupid. It's just dumb. That's a dumb law. What do they say the reason behind it is?
Because they want to stick in their slush funds. So
Yeah, I mean,
because $400 on a toilet seat.
Well, because
they don't even need to tell you what they're spending it on.
No, they don't.
That's what's really fucked up.
Part of the problem is
they're going to take half your shit, but I'm not even going to tell you what I'm going to do with it.
The tax numbers are so high because this country is trillions of dollars in debt because of stupid decisions it's made. There are actually 12 different tax brackets for calculating the federal estate tax, ranging from 18% for the first $10,000 to 40% for $1 million or more. However, the estate tax brackets aren't used in practice other than the top bracket. The lifetime exclusion I mentioned is technically structured as a unified credit against the estate tax. Specifically, there is a $2, $141,800 unified estate tax credit, which is the amount of tax that would be due on a $5.49 million estate according to the estate tax brackets. The system of unused estate tax brackets may sound quite complicated, but the result is that all estates exceeding the lifetime exclusion are subject to a 40% tax rate on the amount in excess of $5.49 million. Cacti.
Cacti. Yeah, man. I just don't agree with money that's already been having the tax paid on it. It should not be somebody else's burden if they're gifted a certain amount of money to pay more taxes on that money. Because essentially all that's doing is it's trying to...
I bet you pretty much everybody who's been super successful is like, that's made a shitload of money. Well, not everybody, but vast majority has figured out ways to...
Jenny, that is true on a federal level, but states
for sure,
have their own estate tax.
To get to at least to a certain point where...
Which is why the laws are so
So it depends
strict.
on what state you're in.
Because you as a small business, it's pretty much impossible to pay all your taxes correctly.
Right.
Just
Unless
because you
if you're trying to make a profit.
Yeah.
And trying to just plain exist.
Yeah.
It's an unfair thing. Not only do you have to pay taxes on gift money, they don't have to tell you what they do with that money that gets taxed. They don't owe you nothing. They just knock on the door and take. Bro, that's robbery. That's thievery. That's thievery in its purest form.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. And why does it happen? What is it? I mean, who makes that law? Who makes that rule saying if you get this, we get some of it? That's like a mob. It really is. That's like some Soprano shit.
Realistically, we vote on a lot of that. The people vote on a lot of that.
Do we?
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But
anytime there's a school levy, it's a percentage added on to the sales tax that we're paying.
I just don't understand.
That money's got to come from somewhere.
Soon we're going to be paying more in taxes than...
I mean, would you rather be driving on cobblestone roads full of holes and not having a public education?
But they're making way more. They're making way more money than they're fixing roads with. Let's just be real.
I don't know, man. I don't.
See,
until you can open the books and look at the numbers,
they have to spend They have to spend so much a quarter too, though, right? They have to spend so much, or they lose their grants or funding or whatever.
It depends on which division, which department. Everything has its own set of rules.
I think part of it comes down to just so much, I believe, comes from the raising of wages and how that trickles down across everything. And as the wages keep increasing for no skilled people, you're having to pay them more, which means every company has to pay more, right? To pay their people. Well, that's going to drive up every cost of goods, every cost of service, of everything. and that percentage, but the taxes keep going up. Everything keeps going up to a point where there's no more pie. You can only cut so many pieces of pie out of this bitch.
Right.
Like, wait, I need another pie because I don't have enough pie.
Well, and we've already got to the point where the common American, the middle class American, is struggling so much that the lower class American doesn't even have a say in anything anymore.
Right.
We've already gotten to the point that the pie is distributed.
The whole like
Catch up to some of these comments, bro, because we're getting.
Jenny said for 2017 the exemption increases to $5.5 million. In 2018 the exemption doubled at $11.18 million per taxpayer due to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. As a result, only approximately 2,000 people, or 0.0006% of the population in the U.S., are currently liable for estate tax. That is only on a federal level. Every state has its own rules. Dad said, so there's ways to do what you want. You can put money into several different so-called charities, secretly known as PACs, and other cover-up stuff, etc. That money gets routed to other groups, other places. Eventually, the origin of the money is hard to trace, which we studied a lot of that when I was dealing with a hypothetical situation in which we were supposed to be getting millions of dollars. So we made a lot of plans to spend that millions of dollars, and it was fun to think about. But
not really.
I had fun thinking about it. Having to deal with the person that was making those promises wasn't so much fun, but having fun, it was fun trying to figure out what we're going to do with that much money.
Saw that shit from 20 miles away.
Dad said initially it was to avoid monarchies, yet you still let her take you out to dinner and wine you and dine you. Jenny said, well, the government is responsible for a lot, but that is not to say there isn't wasteful spending. That's the same reason we're all doing it. We as Americans spend a lot of military spending. In FY 2017, the Congressional Budget Office reported spending of $590 billion for defense. A lot of that money spent on defense and in the military ended up being spent on products we're not ever going to use. We have airfields and mass caches of ammunition and weapon and vehicles, transportation devices that after they were built, they were deemed not usable. But that's another thing. That's why we have to pay high taxes, huh? Jenny said, curious, anyone familiar with how taxation on capital gains and carried interest is lower than taxation on salary? Well, probably because the people that wrote the laws and passed the bills.
That's what I'm saying. And that goes with Pop's statement there. The new tax laws benefit the 1% and work against the 99%. That's because probably the 1% made those laws.
Yeah.
Or are part of making those laws.
They're the ones putting the money in the pockets of the people who are making the decisions to pass these bills. Here's $5 million for Christmas. Sign this bill.
Yeah, exactly. If you pass this law here, I'll let little Cindy and little whoever go to their school for free, even though tuition's $100,000 a year. Guess what? They'll go to school for free. I got you.
Yeah.
Just pass this real quick.
You want your kid to be in Harvard? No problem. Here you go. Pass this. Such is corruption. Yes,
absolutely.
It is.
You are correct.
The new laws were designed by the lobbyists and handed to the GOP. This is why H.R. 1 was introduced. That is a huge reason. On to other news, before we close, I want to end with something that's positive, at least positive in my opinion and my eyes, and I know my pops will appreciate this. The news article just came out yesterday. Edgar Martinez is showing well in Hall of Fame voting. We're 6 days away from knowing if Seattle Mariners legend Edgar Martinez will be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. This is the 10th and final year Martinez is eligible. If he doesn't make it, fuck you, baseball.
In baseball, they only have 10 years to make it?
Yeah.
And when are they eligible, though? The year after or 5 years?
I believe it's the year...
Does that make exceptions to that, though?
In football, it's 5 years.
Yeah, the reason why Edgar hasn't made it yet is because he was a designated hitter, and only American League has designated hitters. National League doesn't. So a lot of people on the National League side of the fence are like, well, then all he did was swing the bat, so he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
But he still has to hit home runs. You're still important. You're still bringing in runs. You're still
and anytime since the collaboration of American and National League games during the regular season, he still had to play base, a base position in order to bat.
Man, if you're good and you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. My thing is, that's weird you only get 10 years. Because there's guys that are on the ballot in the NFL that have been on the ballot for 35, 40 years. And they deserve to be in there, but for whatever. So baseball's like, after 10 years, we don't even consider you no more. What is that? That doesn't take the numbers away that you've gotten.
You know what the difference is, though? Baseball, there's a lot more baseball players than NFL players.
Yeah, and they play a lot more games, and I get it. I understand, but, I mean, it's kind of disrespectful that if you're busting your ass.
Get that free stock.
And
Yeah, if you want free stocks, I just posted a link to get free real stock.
free real stock.
Mine's up to like $87 right now.
And they just opened
For
up
free.
cryptocurrency, so you can get into cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
Zero trading fees, so you can buy and sell stock with no fees.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You get that sponsorship going.
So, a tabulation of current votes shows Seattle Mariners legend Edgar Martinez is doing well in his final bid to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Martinez, in his 10th and final year on the ballot, needs to have his name chosen on 75% of the ballots that are cast. According to Ryan Thibodeau, a noted tracker of Hall of Fame balloting, Martinez appears on 165 of the 182 public ballots, or 90.7% turned in by Wednesday night.
Let's go, Edgar.
That gives me some goosebumps. A player would need to appear on 309 of estimated 412 ballots to reach the 75% threshold. That means Martinez needs 144 of the remaining 230 votes to be elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. The official results will be announced on January 22nd, 2019. I think we should go live for that. I know we're not supposed to, but I want to. I want to go live when they announce the Baseball Hall of Fame. This is the 10th and final time Martinez can appear on the ballot. Until the past couple of years, Martinez's efforts to get elected have been hindered by the fact that he spent most of his career as a designated hitter and not playing in the field. But his vote totals picked up in 2016 and 2017. In 2018, he missed being elected to the Hall of Fame by 20 votes. So far this year, Martinez is plus 17 votes from writers who did not previously vote for him. The award given each year to the American League's top designated hitter is named the Edgar Martinez Outstanding Designated Hitter Award.
But yet is struggling to get in the Hall of Fame. But you made an award after him.
The American League did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's recognized by Major League Baseball. What up? What up? We got rated. Brock rated us. Thanks for the raid, Brock.
Thanks for the raid.
Good looking out.
Viewers, what up?
Grimace, what up? Raid hype. Now we got to look alive. Whoop, whoop. So, Edgar Martinez Hall of Fame voting history. In 2010, he was at 36.2%. Now, remember, you need 75.
Yeah.
2011, 32.9%. 2012, 36.5%. 2013, 35.9%. 2014, 25.2%. So there was this big argument between 2013 and 2014 on whether or not designated hitters even deserve to get into the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's crazy, man.
Thanks for the cheer.
What up, Brock?
Show.
Thanks for visiting, man. Appreciate the raid. 2015, 27.
Willie, thanks for the cheers.
And then
dog.
2016, 43%. So he went from 27% to 43.4% between 2015 and 2016. Then in 2017, 58.6%. And so far, 2018, he's at 70.4%.
Well, I mean, he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. My favorite baseball player ever, Ricky Henderson.
Everything is alright.
Joe for Red, thanks for the follow. Your favorite baseball player is who?
Ricky Henderson.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, dude, that guy,
Okay.
man. And that's just my personal opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I
Yeah,
love Ricky Henderson.
He was a beast. He'll steal a base, boy, like
I watched
a
him steal.
felon.
I watched live him steal 3 bases in a row.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
He
that
was
wasn't
so
that
phenomenal.
uncommon for him. Like, the speed, the knowledge.
But it's also, it's an art form. To me, stealing bases is an art form.
Well, and not only that, man, he had so many catchers shook.
Yeah, because they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, pitchers got shook because pitchers like, I don't want to get this guy on base.
Right.
So they're lobbing just beanbags at him. He gets on base, and the catchers are like, fuck my life, fuck my
Exactly.
life, fuck my life.
Yeah, they got to deal
Catchers
with it.
don't want to deal with it. What do you do when you got Ricky Henderson on base?
What's the crazy is I guess Dion didn't.
And
play
Jose
enough baseball.
Canseco's coming up next.
Yeah, or Mark
And he's-
McGuire.
And they're juiced to the gills, bro.
Right.
Bow! See ya.
Right.
They're knocking home runs like crazy.
Brock said stealing bases was my favorite part of playing in high school. Not mine. My favorite part about when I did play any baseball at all was being behind the plate and somebody coming in from third trying to rush home. So I'm like, come on through.
I used to love to see those collisions. Those collisions were dope.
I loved them.
Those were dope. I never got to play baseball. I tried once. I got hit in the mouth with a fastball, and I was done with that sport. That was like 3rd grade. I'm out. I'm good. I just stick to football and basketball.
So that's what happened?
Huh?
That's what happened?
Yeah.
To your face?
Yeah, well, sometimes, yeah. That's why this side's a little bit Forrest Whitaker-like, almost.
Oh, shut up, dude. Shut up.
It's like I took Dayquil and NyQuil at the same time.
Oh, my goodness.
I love Forrest Whitaker, man. Shout out to
Brock
Forrest.
said, damn. That's horrible, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm over here, bro.
Come on, man. Come on,
man. I love Forrest, man. That's my guy.
Oh, I can't believe you just said that.
That's my guy. He's in a new movie that was on Netflix. Netflix.
Deep down inside, Duane's a dick. Duane pretends to be a nice guy, but deep down inside, he's a dick.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. No, you're not. You're actually one of the 2 nicest people I know. News came out today, or maybe it was yesterday, but I think it was today.
What?
You know who Michael Cohen is?
No.
He was one of Trump's campaign managers.
And you expect me to know that?
Well,
I'm glad that you asked, though. No, I don't know. Anyway, what happened?
So
kicked in the balls by
since Donald Trump kept lashing out at polls that he doesn't like it rigged, Michael Cohen, who was one of Trump's campaign managers, admitted, because he's been involved in this big investigation.
That it's rigged?
He admitted to paying to rig online polls.
Oh, he's got to go.
So if he can admit to who he paid to rig online polls, that would make those polls forever no longer credible.
So Donald Trump would have like an asterisk by his name in the role of president.
He should. I mean, he's already earned that, I think. But within the next, like we talked, within the next month, we'll give you an asterisk next to your name.
Made of a cactus.
You know what? I'll do that right now.
The shape of a cactus.
Within the next month, we should be hearing about the wrapping up of the Mueller investigation.
I have to type an asterisk now?
No, it's just next to your name. That's all.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
You don't have to type it there. I'm not changing your command prompt. So within the next month, Mueller's investigation is going to be kind of wrapped up, and we're going to see where everybody stands. But
he still works for Trump, or is he
Cohen?
fired? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Oh no.
So they got him out of there, or he quit?
He was let go, but he's been under investigation.
So was he talking shit before, or did he start talking shit after he got let go?
Well, after.
Okay. So he was like, I know some shit.
I think when Mueller basically sat him down and said, look, we know we have some shit on you. We know we could put you in prison for a long time. So here's your opportunity to start spilling the beans. He started spilling the beans. But he's still spilling the beans. Like,
he's spilling them all like he ain't got no fingers trying to hold on to something.
Right. Dad said Cohen, he was Trump's attorney who paid Stormy on behalf of Trump. That's right. So, you know the Stormy Daniels thing?
Stormy Daniels. Didn't she just get arrested for touching somebody at a strip club?
Yeah,
like,
something like that.
Like that person.
The cops
really
came in and checked out. I don't think she was arrested, but I think there was something that there was some sort of implication.
In a couple ways, probably.
Definitely got off.
She got off all right.
You could turn into Pornhub to see her get off.
So Cohen, when he was Trump's personal lawyer and fixer to rig online polls in his boss's favor before the 2016 elections. To execute the plan, Cohen reportedly hired John Gouger, the chief information officer at Jerry Falwell's Liberty University, and the owner of a small tech company called Red Fink Solutions, LLC. The goal was simple: deliver online poll results intended to make Trump happy. In January 2014, Mr. Cohen asked Mr. Gouger to help Mr. Trump score well in the CNBC online poll to identify in the country's top business leaders by writing a computer script to repeatedly vote for him. Mr. Gouger was unable to get Mr. Trump into the top 100 candidates. In February 2015, as Mr. Trump prepared to enter the presidential race, Mr. Cohen asked him to do the same for a Drudge Report poll of potential Republican candidates. Mr. Gouger said Mr. Trump ranked 5th with about 24,000 votes, or 5% of the total.
Brother from the 5th, though.
As it's often the case with people who do work for Team Trump, Gouger said he never received the $50,000 he was promised, though he claims Cohen did give him a Walmart bag containing between $12,000 and $13,000 cash.
A Walmart bag, huh?
A Walmart bag. Cohen denies that detail. He
Paper or
insists
plastic?
payments were made by check, though he seemed to confirm the gist of the story. In a tweet published this morning, Cohen pointed to the WSJ article and said that when it came to poll rigging, his actions were made at the direction and of the sole benefit of Donald Trump.
We got someone from England.
England in the building.
CJ, what up?
Oh, you have an English brother, man, that just got off a little while ago. We got a lot of love from England.
Yeah, for real.
That's what's up. Shout out to England.
Yeah, one of our actual regular viewers and one of our friends that's become a friend of FunkShop TV that engages in chat a lot is from, he's been forcing us to talk a lot about the Brexit stuff or look into the Brexit stuff lately, which I appreciate because I am an ignorant idiot when it comes to overseas politics.
Yeah, overseas politics is kind of fascinating.
I'm a dummy when it comes to that. So he's been cluing us in on a lot of the Brexit stuff.
We should send somebody to that island that killed that
the island with the natives that killed the missionary from Vancouver.
We need to send somebody there to do an
See,
interview.
CJ said I can't wait for Brexit. A lot of people are torn. We've had people in our chat room that are like, I don't want Brexit to happen.
What is Brexit?
It's the
It's like a breakfast.
Britain exit.
It's
like
a what?
Britain exit. So it's basically
them leaving the
UK, all of the countries that are
United,
involved,
whatever it's called,
and the European nations, the EU.
Yeah.
So everyone will be
up.
their own individual entities?
Pretty much.
They already are, kind of.
Yeah, I thought they
but
already
like,
are, but that's my dumminess talking.
But
So
they have like this. It's kind of like a clan.
Right.
You know, like clans in video games. They're like a clan.
yeah.
So like.
Yeah,
you go on
CJ
quests.
just said leaving the EU, exactly.
So like-
Dad said, speaking of Falwell, a preacher or something like a head of a college, there's something about him flying around with his pool boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad.
England wants to take
That's-
on the Dragon Quest by itself.
Oh, okay.
It wants all the experience. It doesn't want to share the experience and gold with the rest of the EU and the even though it'd be a lot harder. But they think they can handle it. That's what's going on.
Man, I just want to experience culture. That's
Trump
all.
Tide Evangelist funded. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Trump Tide Evangelist funded Fontainebleau's pool attendant's Miami Beach real estate deal.
Where's the bowl of these?
Fontainebleau?
See, where's a
Is it in
bola?
the kitchen? Where these came from?
Oh, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's in the kitchen.
I thought you asked for a bola.
Jerry Falwell Jr., the evangelist son of world-famous Southern Baptist minister Jerry Falwell Sr., runs a hardcore Christian university and often acts as the public face for the American evangelical movement. That's why it seemed so hypocritical when he endorsed Donald Trump, a sexually rapacious avatar of American greed, racism, and unearned privilege, who very clear does not care about the Bible that Falwell Jr. claims to love so much. But it's also pretty damn curious that Falwell Jr. recently admitted in court that he paid $1.8 million to a pool attendant at Miami Beach's Fontainebleau Resort who had befriended the Falwell family. It was part of an exceedingly odd business deal in which the group tried to buy the Miami hostel at 810 Alton Road in South Beach. The building is attached to the popular Italian restaurant Macchialina and also houses the 120-bed hostel where a bed costs just $20 per night.
Where?
Miami.
Cactus.
So, Jerry Falwell Jr. recently admitted in court that he paid $1.8 million to a pool attendant at Miami Beach's Fontainebleau Resort who had befriended the Falwell family. Part of an exceedingly odd business deal in which the group tried to buy the Miami hostel at 810 Alton Road in South Beach. The building is attached to the popular Italian restaurant Macchialina and also houses the 120-bed hostel where a bed just costs $20 a night. The case raises more questions than answers. Falwell Jr. and his wife appear to have simply befriended the then 21-year-old pool attendant while the husband and wife were staying at the ritzy Fontainebleau. Fontainebleau. They then welcomed the pool attendant into their lives, began flying him around on a private jet, and even put up millions of dollars to help his business ventures. So a 21-year-old pool boy is all of a sudden flying all over the world and getting millions of dollars handed to him for
Why?
business ventures.
But what is he doing to get that money? Just being present?
Yeah.
Just being present?
That's the whole point of this
Just
article.
being present?
Yeah. Well, you know who Falwell is,
Well,
right?
if you're a
the
thug-
evangelical, the preacher. So why is a preacher and his wife all of a sudden taking on a pool boy and flying him all over the the world? What's going on here?
Have you ever
Well,
thought about
that's-
why if like cum didn't react to gravity?
CJ, you need to.
I catch the reference. That's
I personally. CJ needs to spend more time on our channel.
Oh, the politics.
CJ, I know it's your first time. You said, "Well, so what are your thoughts on politics?"
On your politics.
On your politics, American politics.
Oh, man.
Dad said, so one of
We're
Trump's
neutral
evangelical
like the
connections,
Swiss.
which includes Franklin Graham.
Exactly.
Yes.
Actually, I should point down.
Franklin Graham is
my
not a good guy. He didn't follow in his father's footsteps. That's for sure. Are you Trump or anti-Trump? I personally am not pro-Trump. I'm going to leave it at that. So the case raises more questions than answers. Go ahead, Shawn. Are you Trump or anti-Trump?
I'm like the Swiss.
You're holy.
Holy, yes.
Holy.
I'm neutral as fuck.
Sometimes it stinks.
Super neutral.
Go ahead, Duane.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't have an opinion either way, bro.
We're just answering for CJ. That's
Oh,
all.
okay.
I'm not
Yeah, CJ.
I'm not expecting some big theological, philosophical answer.
Yeah, not from me on politics, but yeah, I'm not for.
Sad to say
or
because I dug
against.
Billy. Billy Graham was a great man.
I mean, when the
I absolutely
spaghetti
agree.
monster was flying spaghetti monster was walk the sea. I mean, that was important.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the article because there's. So the case raises more questions than answers. Falwell Jr. and his wife appear to have simply befriended a then 21-year-old pool attendant while the husband and wife were staying at the ritzy Fontainebleau. They then welcomed the pool attendant into their lives, began flying him around on a private jet, and even put up millions of dollars to help his business ventures. Falwell and his wife had appeared in Facebook photos eating at Machelina with
You're
a pool
always
attendant.
welcome, bro.
A Florida International University graduate named Giancarlo Granda, who now lives in Washington, D.C. and attends Georgetown University.
Georgetown, shout out to the Hoyas.
So
Patrick
this
Ewing.
pool boy now lives in
No,
Washington, D.C. and
Cactus
attends
Temple.
Georgetown. BuzzFeed News has previously reported that the real estate transaction also had some odd potential ties to Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, who had recently sentenced to 3 years in prison for illegally paying 2 porn stars to keep quiet about having sex with Trump.
I mean, I'd pay him too.
So I'm wondering did Trump or Falwell, did they
see that?
were
You
they
think
involved
Trump
in
is the
something?
only rich dude that had sex with prostitutes?
No, I know, but this pool boy must have seen something.
Well, the pool
He
boy
got
knows
so
a lot. He's not getting paid just because he's a pool boy.
Right? No, obviously.
This dude got some knowledge. Like, yo, you
So-
can bury us right now, dog.
According to public court filings, first noted by BuzzFeed,
They
Falwell
probably
Jr.
buried
said
him.
in courts this past December 4th that he made 2 loans to a shell company called Alton Hostel, LLC, which was controlled by Falwell's wife and son, plus Granda. So
Had hostile in the name.
Alton Hostel, LLC, Falwell Jr. made 2 loans to a shell company called Alton Hostel, LLC, which was controlled by Falwell's wife and son,
CJ says, "What's happening with this pool boy?
plus Granda.
He's getting
So,
stretched out in the back." If
The
you know
wife
what I'm
and
saying.
son own this hostel, this $20 per bed per night hotel, and Falwell Jr. is loaning money to it that his wife and son plus the pool boy own.
FYI, your command doesn't work.
What? You son of a...
That's weird. Yeah, the pool
Oh,
boy knows
mine
more
doesn't
than
work right now either.
maybe he just has to do it.
No, normally.
Oh, it normally it works with you. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, they should be working. Chatbot is broken right now?
Broken.
You probably broke it, bro.
Pop,
It's still up.
Pop says all prayer blessings on you guys and repentance for Falwell. Thanks, Pop.
Falwell's going to need it, it sounds like.
Yeah, and so is that pool boy.
Here's his quote. My wife and I provided a loan of $1 million for Alton Hostel's purchase of the Alton property, Falwell wrote in court yesterday. Later, my wife and I provided additional funds of approximately $800,000 for renovations of the Alton property, which are being treated as an additional loan. Falwell made the statement as part of a still open lawsuit in Miami-Dade Circuit Court. In August 2017, a father and son, Jesus Fernandez Sr. and Jr., sued Granda and the Falwell family. The 2 men claimed that they were promised a cut of the real estate deal, but the Falwells never paid up. The Falwells deny this. According to the original lawsuit, Granda was working as a pool attendant at the Fontainebleau in 2012 when Falwell Jr. and his wife Becky stayed at the resort. The suit says Granda befriended Falwell Jr. and his wife at the Fontainebleau. The suit does not elaborate as to why the relationship began, but it does allege that Falwell indicated that he wanted to help Granda establish a new career and build a business. And that Falwell Jr. told Granda to search for a profitable business idea and promised that he would purchase, finance, and or establish this business for Granda.
Probably pronounced Jesus. He pops.
Probably. Jesus. So he indicated that he wanted to help Granda establish a new career and build a business because he just happened to be staying at a hotel and liked the pool boy. The pool attendant was.
I mean, it could be, bro. Like maybe the pool boy is really charismatic and they had a connection.
Huge cactus.
Yeah, huge
I think the
cactus.
wife is probably. If Falwell Jr. is like, yeah, I'm getting old. I don't care about that anymore. You satisfy my wife, and I'll make it worth your while.
You think that might be going down?
I think so.
That pool boy's getting paid millions of dollars to be like almost like a. Well, maybe that's at Nexum
Look,
stuff.
He went from being a pool boy to being a student at Georgetown University, which probably isn't much, but.
But could there be a possibility that
he's not a
Falwell,
bad-looking dude either.
The pool boy?
Yeah,
or the
that's
husband?
That's the pool boy?
Yeah.
That's the pool boy.
Now he's managing member at Alton Hostel LLC.
Okay, so he went from a pool boy to being
pool boy in
all around
Miami,
the world.
Just flying around the world on private jets.
And getting paid millions of dollars.
Right.
Now, it's probably not what I'm about to say.
So moving to Washington, D.C. and attending Georgetown to get a degree.
Right. Now, it's probably not what I'm about to say. But could it be that this dude right here that's on the screen, or that was on the screen, that handsome young man, could it be that they had a deep conversation to where the dude with the money was like, man, I really like you and I want to see you succeed. Follow me. Get under my wing. I'll pay for your education. Fly you around the world. I mean, that could be. It's probably not. But is it fair to say that that could be?
You're right, CJ. It doesn't sound.
I don't know.
But it could
I think there was a
I mean, it
cactus
sounds
involved
mad
somewhere.
crooked,
Okay,
right?
it could be. Let's continue the article.
This sounds
the plot
mad suspect,
thickens. In August 2017, a reporter for Politico spent a weekend at the Miami hostel. Politico unsubtly labeled the place a flophouse and noted that Falwell tied property encourages behaviors such as drinking, premarital sex, smoking, and co-ed sleeping that would get students expelled from Liberty University, the uptight Christian college that Falwell Sr. founded. Politico also noted that Alton Hostel LLC was, for a few years, based at a Virginia property owned by the nonprofit university. Politico also called the hostel gay-friendly, which is interesting considering that Falwell Sr. famously blamed the 9/11 attack on gay people. You didn't know about that?
No, that's dumb.
And that Falwell Jr.
That's so
Falwell Jr. runs a university that is explicitly anti-LGBTQ. But the story is getting weirder. BuzzFeed has reported that Falwell Jr. is, or at least was, a pal of Michael Cohen's, and that Cohen helped persuade Falwell to endorse Trump's 2016 presidential run. Somehow, Granda, too, got tied up in this. BuzzFeed said it has obtained a photograph of Granda meeting Trump at the university in Lynchburg, Virginia. The university owns the copyright to the photo and did not give BuzzFeed permission to publish the image. A source also told BuzzFeed that Cohen and Falwell discussed the Miami-Dade County lawsuit before Falwell endorsed Trump, but there is currently no direct evidence that the real estate deal with Granda influenced Trump's endorsement. New Times was not able to independently corroborate BuzzFeed's reporting. The case is yet another weird link between Miami and the people orbiting the Trump world. New Times has previously reported, for example, that Russian billionaire center to the Mueller investigation, Ares Agalarov, owns $14 million in Miami real estate and once threw a party at the Versace mansion headlined by 90s one-hit wonder Lou Bega.
Lou Bega, Mambo number 5.
As for the Falwell case, the judge has already dismissed some of the fraud claims. Falwell Jr. filed the December 4 affidavit in an attempt to dismiss the suit's other claims. In the new filing, Falwell Jr. said that he met with Granda, Fernandez Sr., and Fernandez Jr. for breakfast at an unnamed Miami Cuban restaurant, but they never promised the Fernandez family money or a role in the transaction. From time to time, the managers of Alton Hostel, my son, Trey Falwell, Giancarlo Granda, contact me for advice based on my 20 years of real property legal practice and experience investing and in developing real estate, Falwell Jr. wrote. I am not paid for that advice. But he later added, my wife and I have made loans to the Alton Hostel.
Where does it get to the pool boy and how he's involved in all this? I want to know about the pool boy.
I do too.
Is he bending the wife over? Sorry, Pops, I know that's crude. I apologize.
Yeah,
what is he doing? Why is he there?
He's getting bent over.
Or he's getting
I
bent
wonder,
over?
like, maybe this pool boy caught Falwell in doing something that would completely destroy his credibility as a pastor? Because he does, his father, like the article states, his father blamed 911 on gay people. Which, he blamed 911. Blamed the 911 attack on gay people because he said the Muslims did it because Muslims apparently vehemently hate homosexuality, and the United States promotes homosexuality. So
Thanks for the
that
cheer.
was their motivating factor.
Look at the cheer.
But Falwell, good timing. Falwell Jr. runs a university that is explicitly anti-LGBTQ. So what if the pool boy just happened to see Falwell get drunk fondling some other dude in the pool?
It could be, man.
It's hush money. No matter how you look at it, I think
what
it's got to
religion
be hush money.
does the priest practice? Is it Catholicism?
No, he's a.
Because if it's a Catholic priest, then
it's not Catholic.
Not saying Catholic priests are creepy, but I'm just saying there's a lot of cases that
Southern Baptist pastor, but a very famous one, like the TBN type. You know what the TBN is?
No.
So,
yeah, you do.
What's TBN?
Trinity Broadcast Network.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Remember with the Benny Hinn and his wife with the giant beehive haircut?
That was Tammy Faye Baker. With the makeup that would run down her face all the time when she would cry?
Tammy Faye was involved in a lot of that, but that was another huge scandal in its own.
Tammy Faye was scary.
Yeah.
Not saying she wasn't a good person. She's just scary looking.
Jerry Falwell's...
Thanks for the cheer.
Oh, my gosh.
American televangelist, but Junior is his son. Here's another news story that came out 5 hours ago. Michael Cohen paid Jerry Falwell Jr.'s tech officer to rig early polls for Trump. Another one that says Cohen acknowledges rigging polls with help of Liberty University staffer.
So let me ask you this. What do you think is going to happen then when election comes back around? That's going to be a shit show.
We're going to know in a month.
It's going to be a shit show.
What's going to happen? What happens over the next month or two is going to tell us what I think it's going to be a telltale sign of the next election. If Trump is not found guilty of these charges, he has a good chance of being reelected. If he is found guilty of these charges, no Republican will be elected.
Oh, I get you.
There's a lot
opinion. Riding on it.
In my opinion.
Who makes that decision?
Mueller's going to take him to the hill. So we'll see. We'll see. It depends on how.
Hey, CJ, how do they do it in England? How do they decide
drag him out the
who's
street
the leader?
Beat him until
do they? Because I don't. Do they vote like we do?
It's a queen.
Okay. How do they decide?
It's a hierarchy.
Okay.
They're born into it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that how it is?
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I think now the queen doesn't have.
Do you think that causes even more corruption though? Because what if like haters are like,
I think.
Or what if it's what if a twin is born, and so now you have two princesses?
Well, that's part of the reason why there's Brexit, because the United Kingdom as a whole has a prime minister.
Okay.
And Britain is like, no, we want our queen to lead us, not the prime minister. So there's Angela Merkel, Theresa May. Theresa May is a British politician serving as Prime Minister of the UK. And there's a guy that Theresa May won yesterday by like 20 points. It was so slim. It was ridiculous.
To be the next queen?
To hang on to the Prime Minister position.
Oh.
But
the Prime
part of the reason why
Brexit
is separating. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Part of the reason why Brexit is separating is because English Parliament, Great Britain, Wales, all of them are saying we want to be able to make our own decisions. Theresa May cannot speak for us. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom cannot reign over all of our sovereign countries. So,
okay.
Dad said, hopefully by the next election, Trump will be excited to his Trump Tower with an ankle... Exiled. Okay. Exiled to his Trump Tower with an ankle bracelet. Agree. I want to know why our commander...
I have a feeling that home arrest for him is not exactly home arrest for the general public.
Commands are working now, Shawn.
I see that.
So 3 hours and 40 minutes. This is going to be another very long episode to edit.
Fuck my life.
See, the more people you have, the longer it gets, it seems.
It's a lot harder for me to keep it on track and stick to the subjects, that's for sure. Because we
That's
end
all
up
right,
talking,
folks. I
we end
won't
up
be
talking
here
about
tomorrow.
so much random stuff. What'd you say?
I said, that's all right, folks. I won't be here tomorrow.
You're taking tomorrow off?
I got more doctor's appointments.
3 o'clock Saturday, we're going to go live for a just a networking thing. We're going to do a follow for follow, lurk for lurk. So if you want to just come build your Twitch presence and be part of a community and build a community, help your community grow, come and join us Saturday at 3 o'clock. Otherwise, Shawn and I will be back. Are you going to be here tomorrow, Shawn?
Yeah, I'll be here.
We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I got to go find somebody to lurk or to raid.
Shout out to all of our new followers. Thanks, guys. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Faux show.
Rather lovely. CJ,
Make
nice
sure you
to meet
check
man.
out. Make sure you check out Life is Somebody. Biggz has his own stream that he gets on sometimes. I have my stream, the D Podcast Experience on Twitch here. Support us, man. We'll support y'all. Follow for follow, lurk for lurk.
Lurk for lurk.
It sounds very creepy to say, but hey, bro, if you lurk me, I'm gonna lurk the shit out of you, dog.
Do you know what lurking is?
When you just chill in a room and not really participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you just pull up somebody's channel and leave it
And
there.
just kind of chill.
walk
Yeah.
away.
Send us some cactuses.
Yeah.
But when you're lurking people, so you know, Dad said no, he'd still be pretty well off. The Secret Service would protect him from getting bumped off by Russian oligarchs, which is true, unless he's impeached. Correct?
Which basically
That's
means fired, right?
Yeah, if he's impeached, then he's no longer under Secret
I want
Service
somebody to make
protection.
a video
I believe.
going, "No, Trump, you're fired."
I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Shout out to Cactus. Big shout out to Cactus. Cactus T-shirts coming soon.
I just want people to make Trump a better wig. That's all. It's bulletproof, but yet the wind can just take it off.
It's funny how many people argue that it's not a wig. Dude, the dude's like 95 years old. Of course it's a wig. Of course he's got
Shave
Botox
it off,
in his
bro.
face.
By the way, Mike
Dad
Tyson
said
was
Nixon
on-
always had protection, so I guess I'm wrong. I thought that if somebody was impeached, they were no longer protected by the Secret Service, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
Richard Nixon.
So,
I am not a crook.
so by the way, Mike Tyson was on Joe Rogan
Yeah,
today.
Mike Tyson's on
So
Joe Rogan.
I think it already came out.
Yeah,
Or
it was live before I got over here. I don't watch it when it's live.
Soon,
though.
another person is coming on, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, he's gonna get Sylvester. This year's a big year for his podcast. It's gonna be fucking nuts. It's
What's
gonna
that,
be nuts.
$18 million or some shit.
Something. But anyway, guys,
I'm going to find somebody to raid. It's time to go.
Biggz is finding someone to raid. We're here.
Hello.
We're hanging out. And thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Ending
Definitely
right now.
appreciate it. New
So I'm going to go to the
followers.
disclaimer. Don't go anywhere. Stick
Yeah.
around. Make sure that you're watching.
Love yourself so we can love others, y'all.
See you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
I'm gonna punch
Peace.
myself.
Stay here. Don't go anywhere.